Was Buford Pusser exactly the hero we remember? Or has Hollywood shaped a legend that still divides Tennessee decades later? Tonight, actor Bo Stetson will be here, who portrayed Buford Pusser in Walking Tall movies and on television, joins us live, along Steve Sweat from McNairy County, whose family has personal ties to one of the South's most controversial stories. This isn't the end. This is just the beginning. You want to hang around as we find out what Bo and Steve knows about the Buford Pusser. We'll be right back.
The Mike Weatherford Show is proud to announce we are now officially powered by TEC. If their fiber optic internet service can handle everything we throw at it here in the studio, from videos to calls and live streams, you better believe they can handle your home or business too. If speed, stability, and service is important to you, you can count on TEC. Thanks, TEC. Now let's get to the show.
Recorded live in the studios of Brewer Street Mafia. This is a Red Dog Bread production.
And now, your number one rated show, The Mike Weatherford Show. Here's your host, Mike Weatherford.
Hey, welcome back to the Mike Weatherford Show. I'm your host, Mike Weatherford. Hey, we've been running this series through here about Buford Pusser. We started out with Mike Elam. We had William Bill Harmerman on here. Tonight I got Bo and Steve on here, and we're going to find out what we think here in the studio after hearing all the sides of the Buford Pusser saga. Steve Sweat, like I said, is a personal family friend of all of them down there. Everybody knows Steve. He's called Mr. Buford Pusser. He knows everything there is to know about him. And Bo played Buford Pusser in Walking Tall too. And you know something else? Bo is a NASCAR racer. That's right. He raced NASCAR. He was a Marine. This man has got his own thing going on, man. I mean, I found out he's a NASCAR racer. Hell, I liked him more. But anyway, we're going to go on and try to get Bo on here with me because I know he's taking his time away and to join us in the Zoom. Bo, have I got you? Hello, I can't hear you. Have y'all got him tuned in? Bo, is your mic on? I can't hear him. What's going on, guys? Did you mute your mic, Bo? You think you muted your mic, maybe? Let him see here. I can't hear him.
Testing 1, 2,
now
3.
we got you. We got you now, Bo. Welcome to the show, my friend. How are you?
Oh, I'm good, man. But Jesus, your volume is very, very loud.
Well, I talk real loud. I don't really need a microphone a lot of times. You know, I'm kind of a loud talker.
All right. Well, let's. All right.
All right, Bo. Welcome to the show. I appreciate your time, my friend.
Oh, well, you're welcome.
I found out that you are a NASCAR guy. I mean, that's the part that really surprised me. Well, I know once you are, like you said about a Marine, you're never you're always a Marine, once a Marine. And once you're in a NASCAR, you're always a NASCAR. I mean, look, everybody.
Well, my heart, really, of all the things I've done, I suspect driving NASCAR, that was, that was my favorite. I loved it. And I didn't really care about winning as much. I just loved the atmosphere, man. And I was, I got meatballed so many times because when someone was in front of me and they didn't move, man, I moved them. And that brought me into the pits way before I was ready to,
So your pit crew got a lot of practice.
Yes, sir.
Wow. So you're also a Marine.
Yes, former Marine.
Former Marine. That's the word we want to use. My grandson is a Marine. He is on the USS New Orleans over there in the Strait over there in the Middle East, trying to help keep that strait open. And so I appreciate your service on everything else you did. I want to tell you how much we appreciate your service, my friend.
Okay, well, thank you.
That was great. But you know Mr. Steve Sweat? I've got him sitting in here with me. I'm gonna let you talk a little bit to Steve. You remember my old friend Steve Sweat?
I I met Steve. I love Steve. He's a good
Yes.
man.
Right.
He talked
He's
to
a
him.
good
That's
man.
right. Yeah, we enjoyed having you in McNair County there June 2 years ago, Bo, and
Was it?
we had a good day. That's right.
Oh, yes. Well, you're sort of a deity. You're an important man in that part of West Tennessee, and you well deserve that recognition.
Well, thank you for that. That's right.
So Bo, you played Buford Pusser and
I did.
Walking Tall too, and I'm gonna tell you that you did a great job. I mean, it was one of my favorites. You played that part so well. How did you get yourself in position to play Buford Pusser? A small town, southern small town sheriff. How did you get? How did you get that worked out?
Well, it's actually an interesting story. They asked me if I wanted to see the Walking Tall that Jordan Baker had done, and I told him I was not interested in seeing that because I wasn't going to copy Joe Don. And I read the screenplay and I realized I had an obligation to bring America. I mean, we were bogged down in Vietnam at the time, and I had an obligation, I felt, to bring America a hero. We needed domestic heroes. And so, to that end, I was just myself within the given circumstances. In other words, had I been Buford Pusser, the, as far as I knew him, that's how I would have acted and reacted. But I can tell you that when I arrived in Jackson, Tennessee, the first time, um, I've been there a day, maybe two, I don't recall. But I came back from a location scout, and then two men came up to me in the lobby and said, "Could Miss Bo, can we talk with you?" And I said, "Of course, yes." So they introduced themselves as being members of the Dixie Mafia. And I didn't catch their names. Well, I caught the names then, but I don't remember their names now. Frankie Lax in Jackson, Tennessee, he knew their names. He said the names a couple of years ago. Anyhow, so we sat up and they said, "Mr. Bo, we don't appreciate you portraying Buford Pusser as some kind of a hero." He was not a hero. That got my attention because we hadn't even begun filming, and already somebody was raining on my parade.
Yeah.
Uh, but so we talked, and I thanked them for uh, visiting. And then I heard a lot of stories when we were filming. People would come up to me and say this and that, and about Buford. And I told them I'm not portraying Buford Pusser the man. I'm portraying Buford Pusser the movie hero. I
Understood.
wasn't doing. We were not doing a documentary, and I didn't. So what you got on the screen, man, that's me feeling the circumstances that were in the screenplay. And uh, what was it? Lloyd Tatum came to see me. I think a day or two after the two Dixie Boys had met with me, and so Lloyd Tatum, Buford's attorney, came to see me in the hotel. He had with him a TBI man, and okay, we exchanged pleasantries, blah blah blah. I said, "Fine, okay." And then said, "Could we go to my room?" I said, "What do you have in mind?" Well, they wanted to show me something. So they showed me photographs of Buford on the operating table. And from my days in the Marine Corps, I'd seen men shot. And it was clear to me when I saw the picture of Buford. It was taken from the left side of his face, and he had powder burns all the way up here on the bridge of his nose, and the fleshy part hanging down. And so I knew then, I just knew it, that he had held a gun, maybe a revolver, in his left hand, and he'd aimed for the fleshy part of his jaw. He was a big guy, he was fat. And when he squeezed the trigger, unfortunately, he elevated the muzzle. So the bullet caught him in the jaw. I knew that, but it did not shake my responsibility. My responsibility was to Bing Crosby Productions. They were paying me, but I had a greater responsibility, which was to America, and that was to bring America someone they needed to see and feel. So that was it. But a funny story. So I was born in Sweden. I came over here when I was 17, then joined the Marine Corps and all that. But I had a fellow once came over to me. We were filming in Henderson. And this man came over to me, and he was about my age. And he said, "Well, Mr. Bowe, you remember me?" And I said, "Well, tell me more." "Well, we was in high school together." "Oh, we was?" "Well, really?" "Yes, sir." And he told me all about our high school, which was somewhere in West Tennessee. And I thought, oh, that's really... I didn't have it in me to tell him I did not go to high school.
Your accent should give that away, Bo.
It should have.
Yeah. You know,
go ahead.
No, you're fine. I said, to you, you're in California, correct?
Yes.
I talk funny, don't I?
Well, not really. You talk like a lot of folks do around you.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's correct. I'm in a little town called Paris, Tennessee, which is just real close to Jackson, Tennessee. Hank Williams Jr. lives in this town here. It's on Kentucky Lake is where I am. You said Jackson, Tennessee. That's just very close to me, just right up the road from where I am. I'm in the northwestern part of Tennessee is where we're at here. A little town called Paris. Henry County is the name of it.
Right. You know what? It sounds familiar. I don't know why, and it's not important. We're not doing a documentary here. So.
No, we're not. But it's the world's biggest fish fry. That's what we're known for.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that reminds me, Governor Blanton invited me to his home for a barbecue once, and he was really proud. He had black bear, and he had every fish you can name, and elk and moose or deer and alligator, and it all tasted the same. It didn't matter. I ate because of the barbecue sauce.
Well, that's kind of right. Sometimes when we go hunting, we'll kill some dove or something, and they'll put all this seasoning on it and all this sauce on it, and they'll wrap this on it, dab that on it, cook it this way, pour it on this, pour that on it. We get done. They say, "You like it?" I said, "Well, I could eat my hat after you put all that on it." I don't know what I'm eating. I don't know what I'm eating because all that stuff poured on. So as you portrayed Buford in the Walking Tall 2, I'll tell you again, you did an excellent job. Dana and I, we watched it again the other night because I wanted to refresh myself, and I thought it was one of the better ones that's out there. There's been some of them since you did that one. There was the second one that come out, but I think you did an excellent job the way you portrayed Buford, and with the children and all that involved. And it was excellent. You did a great job on that. But did the people in in McNairy County, which you filmed it in. What county was that filmed in, Bo?
We were not allowed to film in McNairy County. As a matter of fact, I had never been to McNairy County until 2 years ago when Steve Sweat I think Steve was
Yes,
one of the organizers. There was some event in
that's right.
Adamsville, and um, I had been invited, so there I was, and but I had not been to McNairy County because we were not allowed there.
Why wasn't you allowed there? Steve, you and Bo explained to me why McNairy County, the home of Buford Pusser, wouldn't let you film the damn movie in that county.
Well, that's
I know.
okay. You remember the story, Bo? You
Well,
remember?
I know because people in McNairy County didn't like Buford Pusser.
I've
They,
heard there was a lot of
they
that
was
out there.
Yeah, that was
Oh
part of
yeah.
it. That was part of it. And according to Buford, it was mainly one person, but they and what a lot of people don't know or don't remember. See, Buford was in a heated sheriff's race right exactly when that first movie was being filmed, and Bing Crosby needed, the full county commitment and backing, and Buford was in this heated sheriff's race against the incumbent sheriff, and it wasn't going to work. Bing Crosby soon figured that out, and they said, "We've got to move from here. This will not work."
Wow. So they didn't want it to look like
Well,
they was backing Buford by doing the movie during that time. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. That's right. I
Okay.
mean, he had a lot of things going on, and the I didn't hear the incumbent sheriff was a friend of mine. He was a Democrat, Clifford Coleman, but it was always told, he didn't tell me, but that if the movie crew blocked the road on him or any of his deputies trying to do their job, they would take the whole bunch to jail. And that's when Bing Crosby said, "We can't do this here. We've got to have full county cooperation," and they moved it.
Wow.
right. Well, who knows? That was then. This is now. I can just tell you that Charlie Pratt, who was the CEO of Bing Crosby Productions, he told me we were not allowed there.
That's right.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I wanted to go there and see Buford's home, and we weren't allowed to go there and even look at that home. But that was in '74. So, a lot of things change over the years, people's recognition and recollection and all of that. It
That's correct.
changes.
It does.
That's right.
Who
History,
knows?
time can change history, Bo. Did so did you study any of Buford before you played him, or did you just kind of went off the script, or how did you? Because you played it pretty well. You just, I mean, like you was Buford. I mean, if you didn't know Buford, you would have thought you was Buford the way you played that.
Well, that was probably by chance then, because I had the screenplay. I looked at the screenplay, and I knew that Buford had been kicked out of the Marine Corps on a UD,
Right.
undesirable discharge, and then so I didn't really want to dig too deep into the real Buford because
Right.
we were not. Like I think I mentioned that we were not doing a documentary. I mean, we were doing a motion picture that had a purpose, which was to engage the hearts and minds of people and get them to appreciate Americana. So Buford, the real Buford, he was actually not important in this. And as history bears it out, a good thing we didn't do Buford the way Buford was, because he, as it turned out, was not as great the guy as he was in the movies.
That's correct. Did do you regret playing Buford Pusser, or you just realize it was just a movie that you made? How do you feel about it looking back, like you said a while ago with history? How do you think about it now?
Well, I know that some people, perhaps many people, appreciated the work that I did. and my job was to be on the screen.
Yes, sir.
And the way I go about things is I put myself, how would I feel? What would I do if I were to be in these circumstances? And that's how I portrayed Buford in part two and final chapter and in
Yeah.
the television series. Now I quit the television series because I didn't feel we did justice to the people of West Tennessee. The producer of the television series, David Gerber, um, he was from Brooklyn, and he'd never even been. What he knew about Middle America was it was below him when he flew between New York.
I got you. I feel you.
Right, and he would take screenplays. He had produced several successful television series. One was called Police Story
Yeah.
and Police Woman. So to save himself money, and he was doing the deficit financing, meaning each episode he went into his own pocket for between $400,000 and $600,000 to augment the licensing fee put up by NBC. So to save money, he would go into his archives and he'd pull out a screenplay that he remembered liking from Police Woman or Police Story. And when I got those scripts, I said, "Well, wait a second. This is downtown Los Angeles. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't do this. I can't do this." So um, I rewrote the episodes because we have a responsibility when we go on the air or on camera to give the audiences the best we have to offer. And I didn't feel that portraying downtown Los Angeles for Selma or whatever, right? I didn't feel that was honest, so I didn't want to do that. So I did rewrite those screenplays, and yeah, David Gerb gave me shit for doing that. But whatever.
Well, I appreciate you taking care of us old Southern country boys.
That's right.
We appreciate you
Well-
having our back when it comes to that, because we sure ain't Atlanta or Los Angeles down here. We can't even spell Los Angeles.
L.A.
Well,
L.A.
Right.
Thank God they got initials L.A. or we wouldn't know where you was
We're
talking
Lower
about.
Alabama down this
Yeah,
way.
that don't mean Lower Alabama. When you're in the South and you say L.A., it don't mean Lower Alabama. There's two meanings to that, Bo.
Yeah, that's right.
You got to come back to Tennessee, and you got to come to Paris, Tennessee. And I'm going to show you how us country boys really are. I'll show you exactly how it is, with no bells and no whistle. Just be Mike and Bo riding around, and I'll show you.
Well, through Steve Sweat and some other folks from McNairy County and surrounding counties, I have experienced West Tennessee and Frankie Lax and
Yeah.
Jackson. So I have a certain reverence for the people of West Tennessee because it ain't easy. Life in West Tennessee is it's not always a dance on roses or whatever. You folks, you have to be hardy. You have to be be smart. You have to work hard and I have a lot of respect, and that influenced me when I worked on the movies and especially the television series. I had a responsibility to do my best to bring the world someone from West Tennessee, and I don't know that I did a good job, but I did my best.
You did a great job.
That's right.
Anybody else want to talk to him?
Bo, do you remember the story about Red West? Red was a friend of
Oh,
mine.
I love Red.
That's right,
Come
I
on,
did.
man.
That's right,
I love Red. I love Red.
I
He
did
took
too.
me to see Elvis
That's
once.
right. Yeah. Tell that story, Red, about where Red would in the movie car, the sheriff car, he would run the blue lights and the siren and get you to Memphis faster. You,
That's right. And then, and we were sitting downstairs at Elvis's place, and he opened up to me. I don't know why. I'm no priest, but anyhow, and I felt bad for the man. And
yeah,
who am I to? I mean, the man had gazillion dollars and great hair. So
Damn. That's two things you got to have to impress Bo. That's $1 zillion in hair. Go ahead, Bo. I am sorry. Let me apologize. That's
oh
funny.
no, we're good, man. So when he started to open up, I I didn't feel right about that. So I told Red, uh, I'm going back, and Red said, well, he had to stay and sort of assuage, be kind to El. I didn't want Elvis to understand that I was leaving for any other reason other than I need to get back because we're going to go to work, whatever. But I think this was on Saturday night, so we were not going to work the next day. Anyhow, yeah, and Red, what a fine guy, man. And I roped him into coming back when we were doing a TV series. So I got Red to one or two episodes of that. He was a really good person. I believe.
that's right.
Um,
So
was
so
he?
do I. That's right. And when I first met Red, it was in June of 2000 when Turner came to McNair County to film one of the segments about the Walking Tall story. And Red came into the courthouse, and Dewana said, Red West, I want to introduce you to Steve Sweat, the Pusser historian. So I stuck my hand out and I said, Red, I've been a fan of yours forever. And I said, you don't have to hear you say but three words in these movies you're in to know you're from West Tennessee. Well, Red raised his head
Yeah.
up, looked at me, and he said, I was born right here in Bolivar, the next town from Selmer, the next town
Wow.
west of Selmer. And I said, you've
Yeah.
got to be kidding. And he said, no. He said, we moved to Memphis when I was about 3 years old. But I thought a lot of Red, just like you did.
Well, and I certainly did, and I lost contact with him. I went off and I did a bunch of movies in Europe and Far East, and so I lost contact with him. But that's life,
That's right.
Meet and we part, and sometimes we meet again. But the hugs were sincere, and I'm
Yeah.
very sincere about. Actually, I'm really sincere about every damn thing I do. I guess I'm sincere to
Yeah.
a fault.
Yes.
I try to be that way, but my sense of humor kind of drags me over to the bad side a lot of times, Bo.
Yeah.
When you're in the
Well,
South, you're not real.
it-
Go ahead. When you're not real smart and you live in the South, you got to have a sense of humor.
oh gosh, I do. I have a sort of I don't know, my sense of humor. It's, you know, I lost it in the Marine Corps. I know I was sort of a fun guy before the Marine Corps, but uh, yeah, one incident, they whacked a guy right next to me at Yokosuka Naval Hospital, and that kind of put a damper on me. So I'm a bit of a drag.
Right.
Because, well, yeah, I am because uh, I know the importance of humor,
Right.
and God bless those who can laugh their way through life. I can't, man. I've experienced a lot of hardship, and that kind of weird for someone to say who's been in Hollywood for 60 years, but 60 years. Yeah, right. Wow.
Yeah, where did it go, right, bro? Would
Yeah,
you
where?
would you do it over if it was knowing what you know now? That's a Southern thing. When you say that, knowing what you know now, it was 1970s again, and they come to you and say, "We want you to play Walking Tall 2." Would you jump all over it?
You know, I don't know that I would. I've done some dumbass things in life. Um, but taking the opportunity to portray Buford or do the Walking Tall
Yeah.
stories, uh, that was not dumb.
No, it was
Um,
not dumb.
I'm very grateful for the opera. For instance, for one thing, it's my wife and I. We've been married 60 years.
Congratulations.
And thank you. She's the finest human being I've ever met, and those who meet her will agree with me. And many years I didn't deserve her, but finally, last whatever years, I now do deserve her. I dedicate my life to um, honor her.
That's good.
That's great.
And with that, what?
That's great.
Yeah, because see, I learned a long time ago that the female gender is the more capable. And so many of us, we do our level best to push the woman down in a stupid effort to elevate ourselves. It don't work that way.
No.
And I, not that I ever pushed my wife down, but I wasn't always the person I would have liked to have been in retrospect.
Bo, that's everyone. That's
right.
all of us sitting here. As you age, you look.
Okay.
As you age, you look back, and if you've got any kind of sense or any kind of moss whatsoever, you'll admit and realize your faults that you made years ago. We all do that. But I am a trophy husband. I'm a trophy husband. I'm a trophy.
Meaning?
Well, that's all it means. I'm a trophy.
We're not putting him on
That's
the
a
pedestal.
sense of humor I'm talking about.
Yeah, we're not putting him
His
on the
words.
trophy.
I feel like a show pony sometimes.
So you mean your wife has you on the mantelpiece?
That's exactly right.
Under it.
No, I am. When we're walking, I gotta walk one step ahead of her like a show pony. I feel like she's gonna put one of them feathers in my hat sometime. You know what I'm talking about, Bo?
Really, I didn't realize you're such a perfect human being.
We ain't going there tonight either.
Hey, y'all cut that clip out. Bo, say, instead of saying I didn't realize it, just say, Mike, you're a perfect human being. So I can use that clip in something else.
Well, that would be presumptuous.
Bo, I appreciate your time. I really, really do appreciate your time. And if you're ever back in Tennessee, I want to know about it. I want to meet you in person.
Well, I'm 80. Hey, man, I'm 85. If I'm invited, I'll return. But
You're invited anytime you want to come to Paris, Tennessee. I'll put you up and take care of you. I'll show you how the poor folks do it.
yeah, well, you're very kind, and you're not a poor person because I sense that you have a sense of ethics, and you also have a good sense of humor.
Yes, sir.
And you do show respect for others. I notice you have your friends part of this broadcast. So
Yes, sir.
I believe that somehow you manage to be a humble person at the same time as you are an online personality. So congratulations.
I appreciate that, sir.
Don't bore you anymore. Thank you, man. I appreciate having spent these few minutes with y'all, and I wish you continued success and good health in life.
Yes, sir. Can I look for a Walking Tall 3?
Ha, 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 ha. All right, man.
Talk to you soon. All right, folks. Appreciate it, Bo. There we are. We've been talking with Bo Stetson.
Svenson.
Svenson.
Stetson is a hat.
Yeah, I know it.
Svensson is an
He's
actor.
a great guy.
Yes.
And I thought it was very well to have him come on here and talk about playing Buford. And he's got a good sense of humor, you know.
He does.
He does. He's a great guy. I mean, but hey, folks, I'm gonna take a commercial break. I got to pay the bills. When I get back, I got Mr. Buford Pusser, historian Steve Sweat, sitting right here, and he's got a bunch of stuff here. I'm gonna put that camera back on Steve. You see that jacket hanging behind Mr. Sweat right there? I'm gonna tell you about that when we get back. Hey, I got to pay the bills. Gonna make it quick. I know you hate these breaks, but somebody's got to pay the bills. We'll be right back.
Here at Yoder's Country Store, we like to do things a little bit differently. We serve fresh lunches made right here in our kitchens. Take them home with you, or you can enjoy them right here in our warm and inviting dining room. A full deli with meats and cheeses sliced fresh, just for you. Fountain drinks, hot coffee, or delicious fruit smoothies. Add the finishing touches. Natural and organic products, as well as locally sourced foods you won't find anywhere else. We even carry canning supplies and hard-to-find country staples. And of course, friendly service every time you visit. And we're owned and operated by Amish and Mennonite families.
Order for bill is ready. Hey folks, James Yoder with Yoder's Country Store. We're not your regular grocery store. We're just 5 minutes from Paris. We would love to have you.
Just minutes from downtown Paris, come experience Yoder's Country Store at 75 Anderson Road.
Is your tank on empty? For best gas prices in town, fill up at 54 Fuel Mart, 1213A Westwood Street. And don't forget your other tank. Grab hot fried chicken, wings, pizza, and on Tuesdays and Fridays, the best fried fish around. Got a sweet tooth? We've got freeze-dried candies, candy bars, and more. Rainy day? Stay dry and use our drive-up window. Farmers? We've got your dyed diesel plus parking for big rigs. Open 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. If you're feeling lucky, play the lottery or grab a scratch-off while you're here. 54 Fuel Mart at the Westwood Y. More than just fuel.
The Downtown Event Center is available for parties, meetings, or family get-togethers. The center comes with spacious seating and an area that will help make serving food easier. If you are having a birthday party, this is definitely the place for you. The Downtown Event Center is located at 107 South Brewer Street. Contact Jessica at 731-642-4992 to make your reservation.
Hi, I'm David Bubba Flowers. I'm running for re-election to the County Commission in the Great District 1 of Henry County. I have proudly served you for the last 2 years in District 1, and I look forward to using my 42 years of financial and accounting experience to help lead our county for the next 4 years. I humbly ask for your vote. Thank you.
All right, folks, next week we got the great show. We got our political shows getting in line here. The Carroll County Sheriff's race is heating up to be a good race. Next week, me and my old buddy Hansel McAdams, we're going to have Michael White, Eric Sawyers, and Ryan White live in the studio, letting you find out who these three guys are that's trying to be the sheriff of Carroll County. It's going to be a great show. They're going to be live in the studio talking with me and Hansel, and we're going to be, I don't call it debate, I call it debate, but it's going to be meet your candidate. So it's going to be live coming up here next week, June the 9th, 7 p.m. right here on the Mike Weatherford Show. Don't forget, this coming up June the 13th, Golden Pond Distillery. If you seen a Bigfoot, if you heard something, you know something, hey, I've got Martin Groves from Monster Quest, Steve Causey, author of the LBL Massacre. They're going to be live down there letting you tell your stories and hear other people's stories. If you've seen a Bigfoot, dog man, or anything that other than Kevin, my producer, he's not. He's just a big guy. If you hit anything other than them two guys I just talked about, show up, Cadiz, Kentucky, June the 13th, Golden Pond Distillery, 5 p.m., and you can meet all the greats and hear about everybody's run-in with the Bigfoot. Or if you live in Illinois, Missouri, wherever you live, they got one coming up June the 20th, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Whoa, we moved through that and said, hold on, something happened. I don't know. I guess it's me. Anyway, all right, we're coming back. The Big Bunny Monster Festival is coming up June the 20th. That's Walnut Street. Well, anyway, we're going to talk about it sometime. It's on Auto Trans. Okay, I'll get to it real quick. Coming up, Big Money Monster Festival. Don't miss it. It's going to be coming on. Investigator expands on a Tennessee Informer, what really happened. Special guest Patrick Punk will be on there. Robert Chase. I don't know what that. I can't read it from here. Anyway, don't miss it. Coming up Monday, June 8th, 7 p.m. on the Tennessee Informer. Hey, Jeremy's coming back Sunday, June the 7th. 7:30 p.m. Sports Photographic. You need to watch his show. It's a great show. They do some pretty good photography work when they catch these footballs in air. Sometimes you can even read who made the ball on the side of it. So tune in Sunday, June the 7th. Sportscast Live with Jeremy Buckaloo. Hey, don't mark your calendar. Multi-county Republican rally coming up out here at the Paris Convention Center. It's going to be a great thing coming up July the 16th, 6 p.m. A lot of your candidates, governor candidates will be there, and some special guests to be there. You might want to go out there and talk to these people and find out who you need to vote for. It's coming up July the 16th, 6 p.m. at the Paris Convention Center. Hey, 1,200 customers have been connected with TEC high-speed internet. 300 miles of fiber line has been ran here in Paris, Tennessee. Have you got on the line yet? Hey, do like I did here at the Mike Weatherford Show. Join the TEC family and find out what it's like to have the high-speed fiber optic internet that only TEC can provide you. Like I always say, go get you some. Ricky, tell me about this.
Well, Mike, our McKenzie Rotary Club is having their annual Boston Butt Sale. It's called Father's Day. Let's cook your father a Boston butt. So we appreciate anybody who wants to buy a ticket, see a fellow Rotarian, and they're $50. We'll be cooking them on the Friday, and you'll pick them up Saturday morning at Taj Farm between 9 and 11 o'clock. We appreciate any support anybody can give us.
Hey, they're going to be good.
They're going to be good.
Oh, that's going to be wonderful. Boston Butt, that's coming up. Hey, Peddler Advantage, run your 20-word classified for 4 weeks for only $10. Hey, when you get your paper, look, the Mike Weatherford Show, Tennessee Informer, Sportscast Live with Jeremy Buckley, we're all listed in there. Get your paper today. Don't forget, we're simulcasting Facebook. We're on Spotify. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. You name it, we're there. Go to www.myparistv.com to find out more about all the great shows Kill Media and the Brewer Street Mafia Studios is bringing to you right here, Paris, Tennessee. All right, folks, we've been sitting here talking. Well, we just got off with Bo. He played Buford and Walking Tall, too. Now we've got the one and only Steve Sweat, the Buford Pusser historian. Y'all been hearing him talk to Bo. They kind of friends. I think they disagree on a lot of stuff, but I think they learned they can still be friends.
That's right.
Welcome to the show, Steve.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here.
Man, me and you had a great conversation here a couple of weeks ago. I got to spend a day with you at your beautiful house. I mean, I didn't kind of want to leave that. I kind of wanted to stay right there for a while.
Well, that's my wife Sherry's home. She lets me sleep there.
But you reside there. Yeah.
Wow. Folks, I'm telling you, it was a nice place. I mean, it was. And Steve opened up to us, and he really showed up and showed out with all the stuff you got. So tell me how you got involved in Buford Pusser.
Well, it goes back several years, and Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, asked me that same question. He said, how did you get so interested in this story at 6 years of age? And that's when Buford first became the chief of police there in Adamsville, where I lived. And I told him, I said, you're going to have to ask your daddy because you're not old enough to remember. But when I was 6 years old, 6 and 7, in 62, when Buford became the chief, my two favorite TV shows were Gunsmoke. We still watch that about every night in our house.
Yeah.
And Highway Patrol with Broderick Crawford.
Yeah.
And then I get to see this young chief of police making traffic stops in front of my house. And, he'd get your attention. 6'6", 250 pounds, and had a real neat flat top haircut. And guys, I still remember the old car. The first squad car that he drove was a black 60 Chevy. Had a little 6-cylinder, 3-speed on the column. But that car didn't last long. His
three on a tree, huh?
That's right. His next one was a black 63 Ford Galaxy with a police engine. So that he had to have a car that was faster. But like I told you before, Mike, too, and I told The Rock, I said, every week there was a new Pusser story. And you couldn't wait to get the newspaper to see what Buford had done this week, And
kind of like Donald Trump.
That's right.
Okay.
Say I turn on Fox. As soon as I get in the back door, I turn Fox on.
You got to see what Trump's did.
And I share you. I say, what's Trump done today?
That's exactly.
And mover and a shaker, and that's the way Pusser was. He would make these traffic stops out of the city limits of Adamsville. He was trying to expand his border. And where I lived was a half mile out of the city limits at that point. And he would pull the 18-wheelers over there, a lot of them, because it was the lay of the land. And it was a good, flat, safe area. And so when I was out in the yard playing, he would make these traffic stops. I'd stop playing, sit on the end of the porch, and watch him work. And then Monday morning, December 16th of 63, Chief Pusser busted his first moonshine steal. And it was sitting in the south edge of the Adamsville city limits. And the smoke from that steel rolling up, they'd fire it with car tires, and of course firewood and whatever they get their hands on. And it was a big steal. It was 3 1,200-gallon cookers, and they belonged to my brother.
Wow.
So that gave my family a direct connection to Pusser.
Yep.
And the revenue agents encouraged him at that point in December 63 to run for sheriff. And the next summer he did. And a lot of people have told the story and they get the date wrong and all, but he was running against incumbent James Dickey that had only served one term, which was 2 years back then. And James Dickey died Saturday morning, August 1, in a car accident, 5 days before Election Day. And 26-year-old Pusser was elected sheriff of McNair County.
Did he have more votes than the other guy did, or just because he died and he couldn't take it?
There was 3 running.
Okay.
And
was there a Weatherford running?
George Weatherford. And
that's right. That might be my connection to Buford.
Nobody
knows that connection, do they?
That's right. George Weatherford.
That's right.
And I tell you what, the dead guy, James Dickey, he received 307 votes. And had George Weatherford received those 307 votes that went to the dead sheriff, he would have been the sheriff.
That's right.
Sure would have.
And it might have been a little bit different outcome if Weatherford gets to be sheriff,
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
It might have been more
A trophy sheriff.
Yeah, trophy sheriff.
A trophy sheriff.
Sitting on the mantle.
Yeah, trophy sheriff.
Might have been more liquor still.
Yeah, we won't go there tonight either, okay?
Big deal. Yeah. But sure enough, every week, and especially after he became the sheriff, he was doing something every week, and he was in the wrestling business enough to learn the power of promotion. He did know how to promote himself, and of course that attributed to him being elected three times in a row.
Right.
And back in his day, as sheriff, you could only serve a maximum of 3 2-year terms. They were only 2-year terms.
Man, that's a quick term, 2 years.
That's right.
Man.
And you're doing it all again.
Yeah.
So they elected Buford 3 times. And so in 1970, he had to go out. And that's when Clifford Coleman that had been sheriff in the 50s stepped back up and ran again as a Democrat, and he was elected in 1970. Then in 72, see, Buford could run again after sitting out for 2 years. But it was right when they started the film Walking Tall. And the people in McNair County, the best I can tell, they didn't want a movie star for a sheriff. So Buford's day had came and gone.
Right.
It had.
He wasn't a sheriff no more. He was a movie star then.
Yeah.
According to the people.
That's right.
So your brother was the first liquor steal that he busted as the police chief. He hadn't even made it to sheriff yet.
That's right.
Was your brother. Wow.
Yeah.
Steve, was you involved in that?
Now, I never.
See, he tried to put you on the ropes.
Well, hey, I can answer any question you
told me that.
That's right. It don't matter.
That's right. That's right.
Now, and I'll have to.
Yeah.
I'll have to be honest about this. I never went to that moonshine still as an 8-year-old kid, but I did pour up several 16 half pints out of those gallon jugs. And they kept it in the old Coke. You remember the old glass gallon Coke jugs? The syrup came in from the drive-ins.
Yeah.
And, of course, that's what they'd load in those big, heavy cars, the big 55 Oldsmobiles and the Buicks. And, a lot of times they'd take the back seat out. And I'd seen several of those big, heavy cars loaded level with the back quarter window.
Right, pulling, and they'd prop the springs up so the cops couldn't tell they was loaded, wouldn't it?
That's right. They'd have to block those springs up, and it's pretty easy to spot a hauler, because if you didn't doctor those springs, that, as Buford called it, it'd be riding low in the rear.
Right.
And you could spot a hauler that hadn't been beefed up real easy. But the thing about it, and this is what I talked about the TBI. My brother was involved in the moonshining, but I chose law enforcement, and I looked up to Buford Pusser because, I was already interested in it, and to me, he was like having Matt Dillon in McNair County, and that's the way I felt about him. Right. And he was so similar to Matt Dillon because if there was a problem at all in the county, he was the sheriff, and he was there. If it was a house fire, a wreck, a fight, it didn't matter. The sheriff was there. He enjoyed it. He loved that job.
And good at it.
And was good at it. He was built for it.
Right.
Yeah.
So you started liking that, and you seen a lot of things that went on, and you started collecting memorabilia and stuff from him, didn't?
I've got I didn't bring it tonight, didn't show it to you the other day and all of our stuff, but I've got the newspaper clipping from where James Dickey died in that car crash. And I tell people my mother must not have had her scissors handy because she tore that story out of the newspaper. And I left the jagged edges on it just like she tore it out of that paper in August of 64. So, I've been collecting since the beginning.
Wow. But you, the story we've been hearing, I've had a couple different ones on my show that's telling about Buford. One guy said that Buford wasn't what we thought he was. He didn't believe that he was ambushed. Then I had another gentleman come on here that told the story, and he said, that Buford's tale was more than likely the correct tale.
Yeah. Well, a few years ago, as probably about 17 years ago now, Dewana called me one morning, which is Buford's daughter. And she said, I need you to meet me at the museum. She said, a news crew from Memphis is coming out to do a story about her dad. Yeah. And I said, okay, is it a positive story or a negative story? She said, I don't know. That's why I need you there. Because like you've seen, it don't matter what you say to me, what you ask me, nothing rattles me about this story. Because I've spent, like we've talked about, 64 years in the middle of this thing.
Yeah.
And so we got to the museum that day, and it was a male reporter, female camera person. And they talked to Dewana and I. We were sitting on the couch straight across from them. They talked to us just a few minutes. And the male reporter, he said, I tell you what, he said, I want to interview Mr. Sweat first. And Dewana just scooted back on the couch like, okay, I'm just the daughter.
Get you some of that.
So they turned the camera on. He stuck that microphone over toward me, and he said, what do you feel about the new information that Sheriff Pusser murdered his wife? I said, I'm not aware of any new information. I said, I don't know of a thing that's new. And I said, as far as I'm concerned, it went the way the sheriff said it did. He was there, and we weren't. And that's pretty well the way I still feel today. And I tell people all these opinions and theories and thoughts is nothing new. We started hearing all this stuff Saturday morning, August 1 of 67, August 12th of 67. And that's so none of this is new, because there were people that was jealous of Buford, and a lot of that came from, different parts of the county, like the south part, the west part, because Buford and I, we lived in Adamsville. Adamsville, at that point, there was probably about 1,000 people that lived in Adamsville. You knew everybody that you met on the street. You waved at everybody. You knew every car that they drove, and you were like neighbors and kinfolks. And you never heard anybody around Adamsville talk bad about Buford. He helped a lot of people. He got a lot of people in law enforcement, and that's what.
That's a big thing, Steve.
That was a big thing.
If you don't like Buford or you like Buford, look what he did for law enforcement. We probably got a lot of great sheriffs across the whole country, and a lot of good policemen from Buford Pusser's story.
No doubt about it. I've heard, I've had officers from all over America, over and over, that come to my business and they say, I'm in law enforcement today because of Buford Pusser.
That's exactly.
He wasn't perfect. I've always told people, but good, bad, right or wrong, he's McNair County's history. And
you're right. But Steve, a lot of people, I'm trying to stay neutral, and I've, about this whole episode we've been doing, and it's hard for people to believe is you can find someone that just asks questions without a point trying to be made, and I'm not. But we're trying to judge the 60s sheriff and the policing with 2024, 2025, 2026. You can't, times are different. People are still the same, but times have changed. The way they policed back then, there was a time in Tennessee that cops were paid by the arrest they made. There's some counties that you didn't get paid unless you arrested somebody. Can you imagine?
You're right.
How many, how many people got arrested because that's how he was paid? Well, they realized that was not working and they changed it. And Buford was no different, if bad or wrong, than any other small town sheriff. Probably Henry County, where you county you're in now, they was probably the same way. That's just how you policed back in those areas. Do you agree with that?
I agree. It's totally different now, and they didn't have any money to operate with. Buford's, I've got copies of his '64 tax return. He made $3,000 in 1964. And
that's not enough just for riding ticket, let alone what he went through, busting your brother in the steel. That's, what I'm saying, seriously. But we can't compare that. Let's compare apples to apples. Compare him to other small town sheriffs in that area across the South, and then you might have an argument. But to say, he was crooked back then, well, compared to what?
Different deal. That's right.
Just how they policed back then.
It's different, yeah. And one of the things you're talking about, carrying people to jail, and I didn't witness this, but this is the story, and I tell it the way I heard it when I was a kid, when it happened. But this one particular guy there in our community near Adamsville, he would get drunk, and he was one of those bad drunks. He just terrorized his wife and his in-laws. They were elderly people, and it was a bad situation. And Buford had carried him to jail before, and it just created more hardship, on the family trying to pay this fine to get him out of jail. And so Buford was called up there one time because he was drunk and out of control again. And when Buford got there, this gentleman had went down to the barn. And again, I wasn't there, but this is the way the story went from when I was a kid when it happened. And his wife told him, Buford said, "Don't go down there, Buford. He's got a shotgun. He'll kill you." Buford went anyway. And the guy had no clothes on. He'd stripped his clothes off. He's just in bad shape.
Buck naked, drunk.
Yeah, drunk.
That's a bad one.
All right. So I guess Buford, remembering all those switchings that his mother had given him, he thought, I'm going to have to try something different here.
You don't mean it.
Yeah, this is a true story. So he gets this gentleman down out of the barn, gets him out, and so then he didn't break a big tree limb off, nothing like that, but he got him a good size switch.
Keen switch.
And that's where that's where the story came from in the song Eddie Bond did, goes bear hunting with a switch. But he held that guy with by one of his arms, and he took that good size switch and he whipped him royally until he wet all over the ground, all over himself. And Buford finally threw that switch down, and he said, "Today I have whipped you like a kid." And he said, "If I ever have to come back, I'm going to whip you like a man."
Wow.
And that's the way it was.
That's right. Guys, we might need that today.
Yeah.
We need it.
Yeah, there's some people out there that I can think of.
That could use an application of
Yes,
that.
sir.
There you go.
My daddy'd always say, "Son, I'm going to adjust that attitude."
Yeah.
And I knew what that meant.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it did.
that's right.
But you've kind of kept up with Buford and lived it.
I lived it.
Watched him and was part of it. And with all this new investigation they got going out here, where are you at on that?
Well, again, as I started to say a while ago, my brother chose to make moonshine, and I chose to support law enforcement. And I hate to say anything bad about law enforcement at all, but this appears to me to be mainly just an opinion. I have not seen any just solid proof.
Right.
At all.
Same thing you've been hearing since
Since August 12th, 1967.
Yeah,
same thing.
Yeah. Wow.
I've heard it all.
Same thing over and over. People tend to like that. Let's just talk a little bit about history, Ricky. It's up your alley. They say Jesse James lived through all that. He didn't get shot in the head by Bob Ford.
Well, let's back everything up a little bit.
Yeah.
What was our go-to sensational newspaper of the day was the National Enquirer.
Yeah.
Inquiring minds want to know. And so you go to that type of newspaper to find those titillating stories, those stories that would get you all excited and say, oh, I didn't know this having alien babies. Well, today, let's jump forward to today. Now individuals, not just reporters and writers in publications, but now you can do it on social media.
Yeah.
And so it's a plethora of we're inundated with all these people writing their opinions, where back then you would have one or two publications have these stories of sensationalism, but today we're just bombarded with it. So you have all these opinions, and so what do we think? Well, you have to go back to the history.
People like that. Remember, they want to tell you that Jesse James didn't get shot.
Oh,
Benedict Kidd did.
We're overwrought with conspiracy theories
that's right.
today.
They like that alternative,
So you have to go back to the history, and so that's what I have done. I go back and look at the original reports, and when you look at the original reports, you even had doubters back then in the TBI, but later on, those doubters in the TBI at that day and age, they became convinced that it was an ambush.
You know what I tell people usually when you're investigating something or you're trying to figure out what's going on, usually the simplest theory is what it is.
It's what it is.
It is.
And you have these people that say that his wounds to his face was superficial. He didn't lose any teeth or nothing like that. Folks, I've got the photos. I've had a stack of the photos.
Oh, you showed me something. It was awful.
That an inch and a quarter thick. That the photos they made of him as soon as they got him to the hospital, and that 30 caliber slug went into his jaw, left jaw right here, and it carried his jawbone, teeth, and gums away. And when people say that was not true, that's wrong.
Right.
That's wrong. They don't know what they're talking about.
So it wasn't superficial.
It was not superficial.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was
I've seen
unbelievable.
some of the pictures you have. They're a little bit too gross to show.
To show.
Yeah.
That's right. It's too bad to show.
Yeah, it is, and it's not good.
Both,
Bo said a while ago there was gunpowder. I have never heard that.
Yeah, there's gunpowder. There's in the picture I've showed you. I hadn't pointed it out to you yet, but there's powder burns.
Yeah,
powder burns on the left side of his.
Does that mean he shot himself?
No, it don't.
Okay.
He told my brother-in-law. My sister's husband was a deputy under Buford, T.W. Burks, and he wasn't T.W. wasn't a jabberjaws. He didn't say too much at all, and whatever he told you could take it to the bank. And T was at my shop several years ago, and I asked him, did Buford ever talk to him about that ambush? And he said no, said he never did really say that much about it. And he studied a few seconds, and he said the only thing he ever told me, he said that he was so close to that rifle at one point he had the barrel in his hands. And because that would have put the barrel close enough, to have got the powder burns.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's an alternative. I got
That's
it.
right. And the as far as his jawbone being blown out, both of his deputies told me that when they got him to Memphis, that they said, if y'all can find his jawbone, we need it to put back in his face. And they went back to the ambush site and found that left part of his jawbone and got it to Memphis, and so they put it back in his head.
Wow. Wow. When you bring up the story of Buford Pusser, immediately you've got a fraction on this side.
That's right.
There's a crack down the middle. They're
That's
both
right.
arguing. And either side, really, you're not going to change them. If somebody thinks that Buford murdered his wife, you're not going to change
Not going to change him.
And if people says he didn't, you're not going to change them. But I think that you have been the common voice through all of this to me. I come down there and met with you, and you was gracious enough to carry us on a trip. You showed me everything. I mean, we spent the day together.
That's right.
And we rerouted the route. You've got stuff there that a lot of people has probably not seen, and you've got some stuff there even that when Mr. Hammerman was talking about that autopsy having a signature on it, you said, "Well, I've got this man's signature."
I've got it.
You got it right there. He's got show me what you got right there, and we're going to show a little bit of it when we was down there. You think, Kevin, should I show the clip first or let him show it to me here? What do you think? I'll show some of these clips. Let's see what we got here. There we are. We went into Adamsville. Scott back there carried his drone. There we are going up to the Sweat house. There's old Mikey coming around the corner. I'm telling y'all, we're not going to tell you where Mr. Sweat lives, but if you live down there, you know it. But right here is Mr. Sweat and I, when we first met each other. This don't have any recording. And we spent a couple, 3 hours back there talking, wouldn't you say, Steve?
Yes, sir.
And it was a real nice place, and we walked around, and he started showing me different things. We've got that in here tonight. He telling me all about it. Is this got audio on this? Okay. All right. Okay, boys. This right here, stop at right there just a second. If you can stop that clip right there. He's got these right here. Steve, open that up, what you've got in your hand, and then tell us what you're going to hand me. We've got the video, but we're not going to show the audio because we're making a little documentary out of this deal with me and him. What he's got right here. Okay. What he's got in his hand right there, I've got in my hand now.
That's the shell casing that Louise Hathcock fired.
What he was showing you there is what I've got right here. This right here is the shell casing Louise Hathcock fired at Buford Pusser. Tell the story behind that.
Well, and there's been stories about that Buford just went down and just absolutely murdered Louise Hathcock. But he got a call. He didn't get up that morning thinking he's going to go to the state line, but he got a call. There was an Illinois couple that had spent the night there the night before, and they went to the restaurant, which is in Mississippi. The restaurant and the motel was right there together, but the Tennessee-Mississippi line split them.
It did.
And we were there.
Yep.
And so they went to the restaurant and had a meal, and they said they felt like people were watching them to see if they drank all their tea. And when they got back to the room, they went to sleep, never knew nothing. They woke up the next morning, the wallet, the watches, rings, everything was gone. And so they contacted the McNair County Sheriff's Department. Well, Buford secured a warrant. I had that warrant. And Buford and his chief deputy, Jim Moffitt, and Petey Plunk headed to the state line. And Buford did not carry a gun at that point. He didn't carry one on his body. And so about 3/4 mile from the state line, that older, wiser chief deputy, Jim Moffitt, looked across this 28-year-old sheriff, and he said, "Don't you think you ought to put your gun on?" And Buford thought for a few seconds. He said, "I might ought to." So he pulled over on the side of the road. I showed you where he pulled in that parking lot.
That's right.
And he put that 41 Magnum Smith & Wesson on and got back in, drove on to the state line. And he met the people out in the parking lot, and the lady said that she remembered that he was a very big man, and he was very kind, soft-spoken, and he hugged her, and he said, "We'll get to the bottom of it." And Petey stayed in the parking lot with this couple, and Buford and Jim went in, and Petey told me from out in the parking lot, he said we could hear Louise cussing, just real loud, and she was like 3 times drunk,
right?
And so still had a whiskey glass in her left hand. Buford checked around, found some untaxed whiskey there in like a storage room, told her that she was under arrest. And to repeat her, according to Buford, she said, "You damn punk, I'm not going nowhere." She's like 47, and Buford's 28. She's tired of this punk. He's been giving her a rough time. So she said, "I want to talk to you in my private quarters, give you the straight of it." And so he shouldn't have went, but she lured him into that number 1 room, the same very room that less than 2 years earlier, out of this same gun, she put 5 of these slugs in her husband, Jack Hathcock's back. And he stumbled out of her room and around to the
right
where I showed you, where he hit the ground.
Right.
And
he was laying half in Mississippi and half in Tennessee.
That's the story. That's a guy. What the story a guy told me from Mississippi. He said when Jack hit the ground, his upper body fell into Mississippi, and they ruled his death in Mississippi. So she lured Buford into the same room. There was some dry clean clothes hanging on the doorknob to that number 1 room, and Jim Moffitt is standing on the other side of that door. And it's very critical that door stays shut, because if she kills Pusser, Jim can kill her from where he's at if he can see her. So she pushes that door to. It would not latch because of those dry clean clothes, and it starts creeping back open. So she has to move a little faster than she might intended to. She pulls this Airweight 38 from that right front sweater pocket and says, "You damn punk," and fires. And it goes, that's the one she fired.
This one right here is the one that she fired.
And it...
tell him where the bullet went.
It went past Pusser. He dove kind of to his right, and that bullet went past him through the window and struck the canopy post out front. And he was trying to clear that 41 Magnum, and she advanced on him and dropped the hammer on that one.
On this other shell. Put your cameras back up here. This is the one that she shot at Buford. See, it's an empty, what we call in the South, a hull. This right here is one that she fired at him as she was falling. And if you could zoom in, the firing pin hit the primer and it didn't go off. And finish your story. Can you see that, folks? Let him talk while I show these pictures right here. This hull right here was shot at Buford. It's an empty hull, and it missed him. This one right here is the one that she dropped the hammer on. And if you was here to see this, you can see there is a dent in that primer, but it didn't go off. Go ahead.
By that time, Pusser is coming up with that 41 Magnum. She's had 2 tries to kill him. Her gun's not working. She's not having a lot of luck. And now she's looking down the barrel at 41 Magnum. So she turns her back. But the gun is still trained on Pusser.
She kind of does that then.
Well, she's turned away from him, but she's got her right hand coming around her left side, still trying to squeeze another round. He fires the first shot that rips across her left shoulder, and he can't tell that he's even struck her. And he instantly drops the barrel, fires a second shot that strikes her in the left side. That bullet came out under her right breast, and that took her to the floor. She's dying, but she's not dead yet. And according to Buford, that 38 is coming up again. And he fires the third shot that strikes her under her chin and, of course, goes out the back of her head. These are the 3 shell casings that took her life.
Right here, 41 Magnum. Right here are the 3 cases that Buford Pusser killed her with. One of these cases, all of them hit her. Right here is the one. If you can zoom in, that tells you 41 Magnum right on the back of it. And this bullets that he's got right there, the hull and all, it's got, from investigation, it's got the letter H.
Yeah. I studied these when I first got them. I studied them a long time, just really looked over them close.
Yeah. There we go. Look at that. There it is right there, 41 Magnum. Folks, that's when he was showing it to me when I was at his house, and I told you I seen some neat stuff. There's no telling what this is worth right here. I mean, there's no more of them. That's one of a kind.
They only made 1 set of these.
That's exactly right. There'll never be no more.
No more. And
can I see that letter? I don't care what it said, but I want to show.
You need to read it. This is and I may have to read it too. You might not can read
cursive. Yeah, I can read cursive. 4 bullets in 1 case only, shot shell. Removed from 38 caliber Airlight revolver, serial number 44206, which was removed from Lewis Hadcock's hand after sheriff at the Shamrock Motel, approximately 1 p.m. Is that what I'm reading?
That's right.
1 p.m. 2166. H.L. Peeler, Ward Moore.
Ward Moore was the coroner. Harry Peeler was.
Now this guy's name come up, didn't he? Peeler in my show.
Yeah, Dr. Peeler. Yeah, he.
Now here's a good. Is that his handwriting?
That's his handwriting.
So if you need any handwriting, you can compare that note that was written on the FBI report. If it's really Peeler's or not, here is some of his sure enough, 100% his writing.
That's right. After I got these, Dr. Peeler would have lunch about 2:00 every day there in Selmer. And I told Sherry, and I said, I want to go down and sit down with Dr. Peeler and show him these. And I sat down. He was to my left. I said, I got something I want to show you. I took these out. He looked at them. He said, I remember very well the morning I filled those out. This one, and of course, he wrote on them, and then he put the shell casings
in each
the
envelope.
envelope. That's right.
Them were envelopes, yeah.
And they were sealed up.
Yeah.
For court, whatever. But what he wrote on this one, it says 3 .41 caliber hulls, spent shells received from Sheriff Buford Pusser, Shamrock Motel at 11:45 a.m., February 1, '66. Harry Peeler, M.D., and then Ward Moore, the coroner, signed it also.
There you go.
Now, this one, I don't have her little airweight 38. I've got the story about it, and that's one of the things people ask me.
I was going to ask you if you had that pistol.
Now I don't have that one, and
that's about one of the few things you don't
that
have.
I don't have. But this gun, Buford gave this gun. I've told you before. Buford gave pistols away like you would stick candy,
right?
And it's just something he wanted to do. To give to people to remember. A
lot of people did that back in the day. Honestly, a lot of I hate to say outlaws, a lot of you outlaws give guns away.
But
go ahead.
But he gave a lot of guns away. I want to read what Dr. Peeler put on this toe tag. This is what he tied to the trigger guard of that 38. And he wrote, revolver contained 5 shells. One only had been fired and one had been snapped on but failed to fire. Harry Peeler, MD. And on the back, he wrote, 38 caliber airweight 5-shot revolver, serial number 44206, taken from Louise Hathcock's right hand by me, approximately 12:30 p.m. on February 1, 66. Harry Peeler.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's the evidence right there. Yeah. So that's the provenance, as we call it, is there. Now, nobody's talked much about the second shot that she fired that didn't go off. You never hear that story, do you?
Well, I read an article that someone, that was a Remington Peters, I don't know if you noticed the brand of it, but they said that would only happen like 1 in millions.
Wow.
That Remington Peters would fail to fire.
But was that part of Buford's story of that, or did that part stay out of it? I heard she shot once, or, you hear all kind of stuff, but according to what I just read there with the provenance, y'all can jump in, she went to kill Buford.
Yeah, she was, and like I said, she had killed her husband in that same room less than 2 years earlier. She shot him. It was the 22nd day.
They all went off
64.
that time, didn't they?
All of them fired. She put them all in his back, and she ended up.
Why didn't she go to the pen?
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Well, she had some black eyes, and her face was kind of bruised up.
Oh, okay.
And of course, she went to trial there in McNair County, but her defense or story was that he had abused her and was going to do more, and she felt like she had one shot to stop him, which was 5 slugs from that 38.
Yeah, that stopped him.
That stopped him. Now he was tough enough that he made it from that number 1 room. Yeah. Approximately, it's probably about 60 foot.
I would say.
Yeah, to where he made it to when he got to the back of his Cadillac. And
was he a mean person also?
I never met Jack, because I was only 8 years old when he was killed.
Right.
But all the old people used to talk about these people, and everybody always said that Jack was a pretty good gangster. He was,
as far as gangsters go.
As far as gangsters go.
Yeah.
And they said Jack was a good guy, and the talk was that he was standing in the way of Louise and Towhead White doing what they wanted to do. Yeah.
Right. So the Dixie Mafia is that is a real thing?
Well, I've always heard that, the talk, and I know there was a lot of rough people that hung out there, and there was a lot of bad things that went on. I do know that. I talked to people that have since died that back during that time, and they were, it was a bad situation, and it was really the only problems in McNair County was near that Mississippi line.
Right.
That's where it was rough.
That's by design. That's where they wanted it at.
Now, there was a moonshine steal in about every holler, but, they wasn't bothering anybody. They were just making moonshine.
Yeah, there's somebody who's buying it, too.
Yeah.
That's what they was making it, because they wouldn't make it and pour it on the ground. They was making it to sell it. Somebody was buying it.
That's right.
Supply and demand.
That's right. And, of course, the government just wanted a tax.
That's all. They don't care nothing about that liquor. They want that tax.
They want the tax, and that's what that was all about.
Right.
My dad, because he was an alcoholic. I was raised in an alcoholic, moonshining, bootlegging home. I had it tough. ate a lot of commodity cheese and peanut butter. I tell people.
Boy, them that darn cheese made the best cheese sandwich ever was.
It did.
I'm telling you, son.
That's right.
I like to have a slice of that old
Right
commodity
now.
cheese right now.
Right now.
I'd have them
And,
women over there put in the microwave or something.
But I told people that wasn't where I wanted to stay.
No, me neither, Steve.
That's right.
I understand what you're saying. No, I'm with you.
Those old cold houses that we lived in, and the water buckets would be froze when it was bad weather. You know, the dipper would be frozen.
And people looking at you, because you was poor. You remember them days?
Well,
but everybody in my neighborhood was poor too.
Yeah, we were all.
Yeah, but when we got out of our neighborhood, they look at you. They knew we didn't. Y'all got on the other side of that track. That's where the po folks stay on the other side.
One of the things in my church, one of the ladies that goes to church with me, she said, one of the things that I remember about you is when y'all got on the school bus to go to school, you were barefooted as cows.
But you weren't the only one, was you?
Yeah, at that point.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you was a little poorer than the rest then.
But and we didn't realize we was doing anything wrong,
I had one pair of shoes. I'm gonna butt in a minute and tell you my little story. When I grew up, you had a pair of shoes that you went to school in. And when you got home from school, you took them off, put your play shoes on, and you only got one pair of shoes a year. And you usually, your play shoes wore out before your school shoes did. So Dad would always go down there to the dollar store somewhere right before school started and give me a new pair of shoes. Right. And then I took my school shoes and made them my play shoes because my new shoes had just got bought because the old play shoes was tore out. And now you can walk through anybody's house sitting at this table and there's 20 pair of shoes.
Right. Yeah.
We didn't grow up like that.
That's right.
Cherry
bought me 5 pair of cowboy boots in Nashville a couple of years ago. Some of them I hadn't had on.
Yeah.
That's totally different.
I knew the first thing when I met you, how you and I was going to like you. You know what I told you first thing?
Right.
He don't wear square-toed cowboy boots. When I seen that, I thought, I like this guy right off the bat.
That's right.
It's an old thing, right?
That's
It is.
It's an old thing.
Well,
Cowboy boots are pointed-toe. Yeah, they're not square-toe. But anyway, so the Buford Pusser thing just stuck with you for all these years. You've got that license plate. I'm going to move you on up a little bit. What's that license plate right there? Tell a story about that. That's unique.
This is
there it is.
That's
right there.
it right there. I bought Buford's. It was one of the last cars he had, 74 Thunderbird, and I bought it in May of '77. It's 49 years ago last month.
You still got it.
Still got it. Now I'm in the process of selling it right now.
Right.
Had a guy wanting it, and I was going to pass it on to him.
He's got enough Benjamins, right?
Yeah, but I was over at Buford's home one day visiting with his mother, and we were looking at the newspaper clipping where he's standing beside his '69 Grand Prix with that AR-15 held up, and you can see that '69 sheriff plate on the front bumper. And I told Helen, that was his mother's name, and that was my mother's name, and I said, I sure wish I'd ended up with one of his tags. And she never said a word. She went to the front of the living room, and there was a filing cabinet there, and she went down to about the third drawer and thumbed in there a minute. I didn't know what she was doing. And she came back with his tag. And she was as tall as I was. She was real thin and tall. And she put this tag between us, and she said, if you will keep this and take care of it, I'm going to give it to you.
Wow.
It's the last one I've got.
Wow.
And I looked her in the eye and I said, money won't buy it.
No.
Will not buy it.
That plate right there, folks, I know we had a picture a while ago. It's got a little, remember how they used to put these on the old car? Now, no, we don't even have Harley license plates on front of cars no more, but this plate right here is on the front. And you can see this little old wing over here. That was typical back in the day where he backed up and caught somebody, bit that plate.
Backing across a ditch out of a driveway and dog-eared that corner, and I left it just like she handed it to me.
Right, look at there. That right there was a 1965 50. That's the size of the county. Out of 92 counties, McNairy County was a 50. Would it be the size, population right there.
Out of the 95 counties, at that point, we were 50.
Yeah,
and,
that's pretty cool. I mean, you're middle of the way. You're about half. No,
yeah.
That's good. At least you ain't saying it's a small ball. But that plate right there, no telling what it's seen.
That's right.
And that thing right there has been traveled down the road with Buford fast because he liked to drive fast.
And then some rough places.
Yeah, it's got extra screw holes in. I guess that was to secure it on there, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, a car without a tag bracket on the front.
Yeah.
He punched some different holes and bolted it on that.
But that plate has seen some stuff, hasn't it?
That's right.
Pulled over some people. What car was that one on? Do you remember what car it was on?
Well, his first sheriff car, and that's the reason, I built a replica of the first walking tall car in 72 Dodge Polara. And the reason they used a 72 Dodge Polara in the movies, his first sheriff car was a 65 Dodge Polara white. And see, a short 7 years later, they were filming Walking Tall.
Wow.
Yeah. And so this was probably on that Dodge for a while. And of course, he had a 66 Caprice, a beautiful marina blue. He loved cars, and they had to be fast. That was a big block 66 Caprice he had.
454.
It was a 396.
Oh, was it? What year was it?
66.
60, yes, 396. Yeah, it could have been a 402, but 66 and 396, yeah.
Yeah. And, of course, he one of the coolest cars he had, 69 triple black Hemi Charger. He led the 68 Christmas parade with that Hemi Charger, and he had the first big blue light that ever came to McNair County bolted to the center of the roof of that Hemi Charger. and I was 13 years old standing there on the side of the street, and of course, for years and years, I led the Christmas parades with the old Walking Tall car.
Wow.
And I never went across those train tracks in Selmer, there where I was standing, that I didn't think of that night in 68 when Pusser was leading it with that Hemi Charger.
Wow. Yeah. But he had the support of most of the county back in that early days.
He did, and had all the support in the world around Adamsville. Adamsville it was known as the biggest little town in Tennessee. That's what used to be on all of our signs and on the letterhead and stuff like that. And, of course, Bo mentioned my friend, Governor Ray Blanton, a while ago.
Yeah.
Governor Blanton was a Democrat. He made mistakes, just like all of us had. And what I told people about Ray, I said, he made mistakes, but he's a fellow McNair County and a neighbor there in Adamsville. Bottom line, he was the governor of Tennessee.
Yeah.
Give him that.
Give him that.
Yeah. And Ray and I became real close and there before he passed away. And he was only like 66 when he died in 95. And but Ray was a good guy. He made mistakes, governor of Tennessee.
Yeah.
But we, the three of us, I ended up moving there in town. My family did in August 66. And I lived like 2 blocks from Buford, and Ray lived like a block from Buford. So 3 of us were right there in a triangle.
Right.
And, we had Buford Pusser.
Ray Blanton.
And Ray Blanton, governor of Tennessee, from right there in Adamsville.
That's right. But you've always been a firm believer. If we got some more clips we can show. Any of them, tell me, any of them got audios, all of them just video? Okay, go ahead and show what we got here then. We're going to run through some of these and let y'all see, because we got a lot more, but we just got some short clips here. Okay, let him cue it up. But tell me when you're ready. But you have always been a believer in Buford Pusser because of what you know, what you've seen, and you kind of just didn't go by what way the wind blew.
Right.
You just kind of stayed serious with it the whole time.
And on that same note, I spoke at Dewana's funeral, when she passed away. I was the first speaker. And one of the comments I made, now, I told Sherry, I said, I'm going to have to tell a funny story because, I'm a firm believer in any circumstance. If you can laugh a little bit, it makes it better.
Humor.
It does. And I told them, I said, I'm going to have to tell something funny to get through this. So I told, and this is for another story, but I'll tell you what I told. But the church was just roaring in laughter when I finished telling that story. But I had to end on a positive, solid, serious note, and standing right over her coffin. And I told the people in attendance that day, I said, those of you that know this to be true. The one I told Sherry and I many times, y'all have seen the good, the bad, and the ugly, and you have stood by me. And I said it's with very heavy and broken hearts that we stand by her today.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. That's great. You got that ready to play?
This, we're in Stantonville, Tennessee, the very center of Stantonville, headed south on 224 off of 142. And this is, I live here in Stantonville. But this is, we have hit the route that I feel like that Pusser made that morning, Saturday morning, August 12th, 67. And none of us know exactly the route he took, but I'm going to get us to the state line down there where the first and second ambush happened that Saturday morning. So at least part of this road right here for the next probably 4 miles, I feel very confident this is the route for sure that he was on right here.
Is this road basically the same now as it was back in 67? It's not been redid or anything curvy, just like it was?
Yeah, you're seeing just like the old barn off to the right there, that would have been sitting here in 1967. Of course, a lot of new houses up and down this road that wasn't here in 67, but as far as the road, this is the same route. It hadn't been changed at all, and it was, just, if anything, a little more narrow back then.
Now
we're coming up on, we're about to the church where the shooter was supposed to have come out from. So now Buford could have come the way that we just did, or he could have came from
this left to the
this
left
to the left of us.
Right.
And
Either
again,
way, he ended up here.
Either way, right here at this intersection, this was definitely the route he was on right here, because that first ambush site is just right up the road. Now Buford felt like the car was behind this church.
Right here, the church.
This New Hope Methodist Church.
Down, let's get a little video of that. I got it. Okay. So he thinks they was right back in there.
Yes. That behind that church.
They're doing some kind of tour there, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the
Wow. So they left out here. And let's see, it's 0.7 of a mile, the rumor says, from the church to where the ambush site is. So right here where Buford would have come by.
Yeah.
What kind of road was it back then?
These houses were not here. It was more remote, and the road would have been a little more narrow, and it was old, like you talked about the other night. It wasn't as nice asphalt. It was the old rough chip and seal road.
Yeah, what we call in our area tar and chip. They put tar down and put up, broke up piece of lime on top of it.
That's right.
Yeah, we call that tar and chip. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so that's what this road was. And there was an old bridge up here, in Buford's own words, the materials were here to build a new bridge. They just hadn't started the new one yet. And the old bridge, and back in the day, it was just old boards, post underneath, and the bridge was in pretty rough shape. And this is like the second bridge that's here now. There was one in between the morning of the ambush, and this bridge is here now. But right up ahead where you see the signs is where the first bullets went through the car. And we'll get out, I'll show you exactly where the first bullets went through that car at.
All right, folks, we're going to get out here and show us where the bullets went through and all about this. And we'll be right back. Steve, there's always been, I've heard every side of it. Now, it's probably not fair for me to say this, but I'm a race car driver, and I can probably do things with a car that most people can't even dream about doing. Let's get that out there first. But my friends are going to say, yeah, Mike, but I've seen you do things. That's true. If that guy the people that shot at Buford, if they was at that church, and Buford's going down a tar and chill road, I live on one, and it's 7/10 of a mile approximately. Is that
That's
about right?
right.
I'll catch you twice.
That's right. Yes.
Absolutely no doubt in my mind.
No doubt.
I'll catch you.
That's right.
And people say, "Oh, it's impossible to catch. We've redone it." I don't care if it's dark, middle of the night. I will catch you.
Yes, sir.
Now, I would hope that if it's a true story about Buford, them running him down and ambushed him. I'm saying, if it is, them guy was probably pretty good drivers too, and everybody drove better back then.
That's right.
But there's absolutely no way in my mind you gonna get away from me.
That's right.
Especially if you don't know I'm coming.
That's right.
We got another clip we want to show. Where are we at right now, Mr. Sweat? This is right here. Go back up that way, Kevin, if you would, do a video up through that way of that road.
Approximately 3/4 of a mile back to the
Yeah.
New Hope Church.
3/4 of a mile up at New Hope Church, where Buford says, folks, the way their camera's looking at now, I'll get over here. The way it's 3/4 of a mile up that direction is where Buford thinks. He don't know, but he thinks that that's where the ambush people was waiting on him. 3/4 of a mile, they got beside him somewhere down this area right here. They pulled up beside him, I believe, Mr. Sweat, and they started shooting. Tell us the story, Mr. Sweat.
This was there's a big metal culvert onto the road here right now, but Saturday morning, August 12, 1967, there's just an old wooden bridge here, and it was in bad condition, and the county already had the new materials to build a new bridge here, and but they hadn't started that work yet. So it's kind of hard to picture, but in my thinking, the car came out behind that church and traveled this roughly 3/4 mile, and of course a good straightaway right here, Mike. It's like kind of like a drag strip.
Oh man, if you got any power at all, you're going to overrun it.
So,
especially if you know they're not coming. I got to give you that.
That's right. That's right. And so Pusser, it was just, as he says in his own words, that it was just coming daylight. And he's not really expecting this car with no headlights on to overtake him. Now, Buford drove fast. He always drove fast. He had one speed. That's fast. He is traveling right through here, and the people that were, I wasn't here. I was 12 years old when this ambush took place. But the people that came down just immediately after the ambush, they tell me that the first shots went through the car approximately right here. And right here on the southwest corner of this bridge is where the first shots, exactly, Mike. And they told me that the glass from that Plymouth, the door glass, was blown over under a cedar tree right in this area here.
Now, was there two spots that was ambush spot? This right here was, I like it when somebody else holding the mic for a change.
Yeah,
You're hard.
Easy.
You're hard. But this was the first ambush spot took place. I've heard rumors there was two spots. Is that
That's
true?
Right. That's correct.
There is two spots.
And
what happened here to make him leave on? He tried to get away from him.
He gunned that Plymouth, and it had a big 440 in it, and that plain Jane.
If you know what a thermoquad is.
Right. But Buford, in his own words, he says that the first shots went through the car here. He says Pauline, kind of cried out. She was hit in the head. And he gunned that Plymouth, he said, and he said, I drove some 2 miles, was his exact words. And he pulled over to see about her. He thought he had left the shooters. And he said before we knew it, they were on us again. And he said that's when the second bullets came through the car, and Pauline was hit again, and he was hit in the chin and blowed his jawbone, teeth, and gums away.
As we're telling this story.
That's right. So the second point, it's at the intersection of Davis Yancey Road and New Hope Road at that point. And we're going to that point next.
All right, y'all ready to load up? Let's get up there. So there you go. You can see that straight away.
Yeah.
It's doable.
Yes, sir.
It's very,
Yes, sir.
very. I mean, you and I, two old
That's right.
car guys,
That's
riders. The fastest I ever been is 289 mile an hour in a quarter mile, and I hadn't made 300 mile an hour back when I was racing the quarter mile. So Yeah, but I know they didn't have race cars, but that's a long strip down there. It's very doable. I've heard people say no, it's not. Yeah, get a couple of race car guys down there and let's prove it. It can't. Right. I seen it and drove it. Not saying it happened. You understand?
That's right.
But I'm saying it could happen.
It could happen.
What size was that Cadillac engine? Sorry.
What year was the Cadillac? 65? They have 502s, 472s. What they have in them?
Yeah, some of them had a 502. 5 something.
Yeah, they had a 472. And it doesn't. Engine size is not all of it. It's just back in that era. That's a long way. You was down there.
It's a powerful engine though to catch up pretty quick.
Yeah, but these 6-cylinders are more powerful now. You got to understand, they got these V6s now humping out 500-600 horsepower, and they didn't have that back in them days.
That's right.
But still, regardless, that's a long way down through there. Them old car would run. You seen it? Could you have called somebody through there?
Oh yeah,
you was there with me.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
What would you?
No doubt, you could have done it. But here's where I'd like to kind of zero in a little bit.
Yeah.
Towhead White. Back up on the history aspect of it. Towhead White was the lover boyfriend. Louise Hathcock.
Right.
Part of the thought is that's why she killed Jack, her husband, so he could be out of the way and her and Towhead White could rule the kingdom.
Gotcha.
Under W.O. Hathcock.
Right.
Who was basically the money man.
Right.
As you dig deep. But here's where Carl Towhead White comes in to the connection to the Dixie Mafia and all that. As you look, he had connections outside. See, most people just look at what happened there on the border, on the state line. He was connected to people in Alabama, Biloxi, New Orleans. He had a lot of connections. That was a confederation. I'm not going to say they had this big thing that where they worked together all the time, but they did help each other. They did make money together.
Real knows real.
And Towhead White was also known for running shine. You want to know who can drive a car?
Yeah.
So here's Buford Pusser killed his lover. He's run shine. So if he was driving the car, he was definitely capable.
I'll have to agree. I mean, that part right there, I'll argue with anybody. I've drove NASCAR, I've drove NHRA, I've drove every kind of automobile known to man. And to sit here, and I know there are going to be people, when I say stuff like this, I'm not being neutral, and I'm not on this searching. Actually, right. I know.
That's right.
I don't know what the weather conditions was. I've tried to look back. I think it was a cool night, I believe they told me. Is that not right, Ken? It was cool, 50-something degrees, I believe. Is that the truth?
I think so, yeah.
I think it's right. I think my numbers are right. And it's August, so the sun's going to be coming up. Would you say by 6 o'clock you can see?
6:12 sunrise.
That's right. So you can be seeing at 5:45. You can see what's going on. I'm a deer hunter, and I'm out in the woods early.
About 30 minutes before.
Yeah, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. You can still see. You can see. Now, but all that being said, a road's tar and chip. I drive on one every day.
Yeah.
Does that make it different? Sure, it does. But it's called car control.
Yeah.
Were these guys professional? I don't know. We don't know who they was for
That's
sure.
right.
We're all speculation.
Right.
But all I can tell you is that Buford's story hinged on could they have caught him if they was at that. Yeah.
Yes.
Very well.
Yes, sir.
That will not. That's doable. And
Yes,
I've had
sir.
people say it's not doable. Yes, it is doable.
Yes.
Yeah. I've caught people on an 8th mile track, round track. Hell, you 4 laps down, you catch them. Go ahead.
And I'm going to stop pretty well where Buford did, and I'm basing that from the TBI photos. Now, the road grader had they called it pulling the ditches out, but that road grader had just run through here and kind of cleaned these ditches up, and there was a lot of loose dirt. And I won't go into real graphic details, but Jim Moffitt told me when he got here that was Buford's chief deputy. And I'm just going to say there was some stuff on the shoulder of the road here. And Jim told me out of respect, he said, I took the toe of my shoe and pushed it into the side ditch and then took the toe of my shoe and covered it up. And it was a pretty gruesome crime scene right here.
Wow, so this is where they pulled up beside him because Buford was sitting there. He was stopped. And they pulled up to our left, and tried to finish him off.
That's correct. That's where Pauline was hit the second time, and of course it carried part of her head out of the car onto the side of the road right here. And in the black and white TBI photos, you can see like blood spots here on that, again, that chip and seal old rough road that kind of showed up kind of white, and that the blood and all showed up pretty well even in the black and white TBI photos. But we're sitting approximately in the same spot where that Plymouth was when it was hit the second time. As Buford was traveling toward the state line, we're just a short distance now from where he would have hit Highway 45 South, where a lot of those, where the, like the Plantation Club was located, where the Shamrock Motel and Restaurant, and there's one building still standing down here, and it was the White Iris. And that's the only building out of all these things that is still there. And
I can see the Mississippi line from here. We're right here on it.
We're pulling on to the old Highway 45. There's a new bypass, big 4-lane that goes around Corinth now. But this little narrow ribbon of asphalt was the major route from Chicago to Florida. And there was a lot of traffic. The big semis came in here. To my right here is where the motel was. And straight ahead of us over here is where the motel was, the motel restaurant. And the state line went right between them. The motel being in Tennessee on the north side of the line, and the restaurant to the south in Mississippi.
Wow, I want to get out here and look a little bit. Wow. So that second site, that's where basically they pulled up on him and tried to finish him off.
That's right.
Right there at that second site. That was something. Wow, y'all guys, that's to live it and see it. That's how far was it between the first to the second? Was it about 2 miles?
2 miles. Yeah.
2 miles.
Buford, in his own words, in a VHS that I've got, he says, I drove some 2 miles was the word he used, but I've checked it and it's right at 2 miles.
Right. And they say that he was running from the ambulance. You got a story on that too.
Yeah, that's totally wrong. Totally wrong. People talking that don't know what they're talking about.
Okay. Tell me the true story about the ambulance deal.
Buford, he drove approximately 7 miles with his chin hanging down on his chest. And you could, his dad could kind of understand him. It's you can't picture it, but the ambulance driver told me the same thing that the family that went up there to see about Buford first told me. Both of them said the exact same thing. They said you could understand him. It was hard to, but you could understand what he was saying. And on the radio, he was telling his dad, state line, help, state line. And so his dad dispatched the chief of police from Selmer there, Hugh Kirkpatrick. And, he went approximately close to 20 miles out of the city limits to get there to assist Buford. And a state trooper, Jerry Hensley, he responded. And they were running together. But this family that was getting to him first, they were pulling up behind Buford. He had pulled over on the side of the road there, and they were about to pull up behind him, and the chief of police and the trooper met Buford, and they turned around and got on his tail and to get out to assist him. And Buford, it kind of puzzled a lot of people, but Buford was credited with saving a lot of people's life because he could get you to the hospital in normal circumstances faster than any ambulance could. So he sat there long enough for like to say, okay, guys, you see what's happened? Let's go. Right. And so he gunned that Plymouth and took off in front of the chief and the trooper and the other family that was behind. That they had come to assist him too, because the lady had seen Buford, right, and she ran in the front door of their house telling them she thought it was a state trooper had been killed. She said, so now there's the chief, this trooper, and this family following Buford, and they get up to what we call Muddy Bottom. I showed you that bottom there a couple of weeks ago, and the Buford had come over a hill at the south end of that bottom with the chief, trooper, and this other family behind him. And the ambulance had come over the other hill from the north, there at Eastview.
Right.
So they had that long bottom to come across, and they were seeing each other.
Right.
So when they met up in the middle of that bottom, Buford stopped. And I asked the ambulance driver, I said, did he pull to the side of the road? Or he said, no, he just stopped in the northbound lane, just stopped in the highway. And he said, I jumped out and ran to him. And he said, I could see there was no helping Pauline. And he said, so I started trying to help Buford. And he's another one that told me, he said it was hard, but you could understand him. And he said, Buford started shaking his head and said, no, help her.
Wow.
And he said, I knew not to argue with Buford. And so he said, I went to take care of Pauline. And he said, while I was taking care of Pauline, Buford sat down on the gurney, and he'd lay down, and he'd get up, and he'd walk in circles, and he'd lay back down and get up. And he said, so when we got Pauline taken care of, he said about 6 of us picked Buford up and slid him in the back of the ambulance. And he said, I burned the road up, to get to the Selmer Hospital. And he said, when I slid in front of the ER door, he said, I jumped out and ran back and opened the back door, gonna roll Buford out. But he said Buford climbed out of the back of that ambulance on his own with his chin down on his chest, and he walked through the ER door on his own. Now, can you imagine that sight?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that is absolute.
That's the way it happened. All this other stuff that people are talking and saying, they don't know what they're talking about.
That's the truth.
And the ambulance, you have to keep in mind, the ambulance looked more like a station wagon.
Yeah.
Not the tall ones today.
Like a Suburban. The old 60-mile Suburban.
Rail boxes.
Yeah.
Now this was Cadillac. This was like a 64 5 Cadillac. The Shackford's ambulances, they doubled as a hearse.
We had that here too for a while. But
they were just the old big Cadillacs, and they had 2 big red like part torpedo lights, and then they had the little red bubble gum machine.
Yeah.
And when they needed that car for a funeral, they'd unzip the headliner and take those red lights off. And when they got back from the funeral, they'd bolt them back on. But that was the type ambulance that they carried them to the hospital.
So that was verified by
all of them. The people that were there.
So he had to crawl out. There was no standing up and walking out. He had to crawl out.
He had to crawl out.
That gives you some moxie there.
That's the rumor about him running around for a couple of hours, Steve, you're saying is not true. He was just trying to get somewhere to get some help.
Get some help and to be seen. And now, I don't know exactly how long that it took to get from the ambush site, the second one, to there. But in his own words, he said he drove around some trying to find the shooters.
Right.
I think he actually went there to the Shamrock and checked that location, the motel and all.
There's been a story about blood splatter on the hood. You've heard that.
Yes, sir.
And you say he got out and walked around, got on a stretcher, got off a stretcher and all that in that same car. So
yes, sir.
I've never heard that story before.
That's what happened.
Right, that's the story.
The ambulance driver that is a friend of mine, and people know that I want to tell the straight of this story. Just to tell a big, exciting story, that don't interest me.
No, the truth.
I want to know the truth.
So that could be where that blood on that hood come from.
Possibly could.
Wow, I didn't know that. So he did get out. I was told that he didn't get out of the vehicle, but if they caught him, or the ambulance and him run into each other, I can see that happening. And that bottom's a long bottom. You can see a long way down there. I'm sure they both got their squealers on and their blue lights and all that on.
Yeah.
He pulled over and he got out, and he said he got on the stretcher, then he'd get off. He'd get on, he'd get off, and walking around. Yeah, that could be where the blood. Why wasn't that in a TBI? Why ain't that been in nobody else's report? I mean,
the different ones, and again, I'm not going to bash the TBI.
No, but why ain't this been said before?
And different ones, they would tell me, "Has the TBI talked to you?" And I said, "No." And they said, "Well, I kind of got the feeling they didn't want to." And
you would think that they want to know that. I mean, I'm not accusing TBI of nothing. Let's get that perfectly straight. Neither one of us are. But if you're wanting facts, when did these ambulance drivers still alive? Are they passed?
Yeah, one of them still alive.
Was he not? Was he asked about it from TBI?
He was talked to, and if you'll look at and I'm like you, I've got the 2,500 page report.
Yeah,
and I haven't read it all.
Oh no, hell, that's the craziest thing.
The first part that I read, that I picked up and read, they were talking to the ambulance driver, and he told them, Steve Sweat knows a lot about this story.
Right.
You need to talk to him.
Wow. And, but they never contacted you.
And I carried the.
You think it could be because all your years of
pushing it and promoting it?
Yeah.
It could be. I don't know.
But it's just facts. You're not. I've never heard nobody say this about Steve Sweat, that he's into it for any other reason except he's just a historian, telling it like it is. All this stuff you brung tonight is he's just telling a story.
Yeah.
And you talk to people, and anybody else that's been around this, there's one thing that you've got on them, is you've got living there.
I was there.
That's right. We got another clip we want to show. All right, that's where we're at right here, a motel. Folks, just imagine what went on right here. We only know what we know. And usually what we don't know is more stories. There's no telling how much went on here. I think you have to agree that never was turned into the law, or the stuff has been lost in history. But accordingly to what the rumors is and what you know too, if you come here, you was looking for trouble, or you was a victim of trouble.
That's exactly right. Now, the Plantation Club was located just across 45 Highway over there.
In that gravel spot?
Yeah, just in that, just past that gravel area there, right kind of in the corner of those trees. And there's not really any pictures of the Plantation Club, but that's where Buford was supposed to have been beaten and stomped and stabbed.
Oh, wow.
And, but if you'll get a postcard of the Shamrock Motel and Restaurant, the photographer is standing over here at the north corner of the restaurant area and made a picture through the restaurant toward the front door, and you can get a glimpse of the Plantation Club sitting across the highway over there. And
who owned the plantation?
W.O. Hathcock.
Wow.
That was Jack's. Jack and Louise owned this operation. They were like the kingpins of all of it, and W.O. was Jack's nephew.
Yeah. That's right. You can be straight up with me. Was there such thing as a Dixie Mafia?
Well, there was. It probably wasn't all that organized like
the Mafia.
That's right, and
kind of a nickname they give you in the South. Like you and I got them over the years growing up. And I'm not going to tell you all of my nicknames. I don't. But I know time may have erased some of that. But still, I don't think there was such thing as a Dixie Mafia like the Gambinos and none of them. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, these people were rough enough with their own without any outsiders. Of course, there's rumors, and again, I wasn't here. I didn't witness any of those people here.
I agree.
But this was supposed to be a cooling off location for different people.
Well, I want to tell you right here on the camera, I really appreciate you opening it up like you have. I know people wear you to death for this, and look you right in the eyes and tell you how much I appreciate it. Me and this gentleman have been friends for 40 years. We just met about 2 hours ago. We kind of do the same thing for a living. We understand each other. We both come from a poor upbringing, but with good family. And we worked and sweated.
Yes, sir.
And done without. And missed birthdays, missed the holidays, and to make it to where we are. And I understand it.
Yes, sir.
Not forget Buford. I understand you. I know you don't know it, but I understand you, and I think you understand me. We're kind of the same. And the best thing about it, turn that camera around here. Look at them boots. They ain't square-toed. That's how, I guess, let's just say that's the way auto mechanics and body shops wear them. Would you just say that?
I agree totally.
Totally. All right, folks, there you go. We got a lot more stuff going on. This is just one part in a series that we want to talk to you about. Folks, we got a whole lot more of this conversation with all of us. We spent a better part of a day with you, and we just broke it down into little segments there. You know, there's a lot more to it.
That's right.
That we're gonna get back on here, and I think my producer's going to put all this together and make kind of like a short documentary, and kind of voice it over and show what we've got, and let everybody see what I seen. And but I asked you this question on that movie, and I'm going to ask you again, Steve, from one old car guy to another car guy, do you really believe Buford didn't kill his wife?
If I thought Buford Pusser killed his wife, I would not have spent the last 64 of my years of my life telling the good things that he has done.
Don't get no plainer than that, does it?
If you heard it straight tonight.
I want you to do me a favor, Rick. Hop up, you're the closest to it, and grab this right here, and just tell this story before I let you go. You've got a long drive. I know exactly how far you got to drive, and I want to appreciate you coming in. Tell about this right here. Hold on to that, and tell us what we got. Right, zoom in on this right here as Steve tells us the story. Can y'all get on that with a camera right there? I see them moving up there. They're going to get on this. Tell us a little bit about what we got there, Steve.
This is the last jacket that Buford Pusser wore, and he had it on at the press conference the day he died, approximately 12 hours from the time he died.
Wow.
And and you'll see this jacket, and I said, thank goodness it had the stripes and all in it, because you could verify that it's it.
You look right here.
This tag, if you can zoom in on that.
They are. It's clear. Look at that picture. It's clear as a bell.
Yeah, Buford Pusser, February 74.
This right here was made. It tells you it was made for Buford Pusser, so there's no lie. This is his jacket.
Tailored. It was
tailored for him. Yep.
And it came from Reed Brothers in Corinth, Mississippi. And the funny thing about that, the people that owned that clothing store, they were always afraid that Towhead and Buford were going to be in there at the same time. Because they both bought their clothes there. You know, they were both nice dressers. And Buford, you know, he always dressed nice.
Right.
And I like to dress nice.
Right.
You know, and but Buford was a sharp dresser. That was another thing that made him impressive.
Yeah.
But that jacket, he had it on 12 hours before his death.
Yeah, you can see that picture of him being interviewed, and you can see that same jacket. So that is the jacket, his name on it. And there's so much. I got to let you go. I know I've kept you too long. But you've got the Bible. Tell me this. I've showed the Bible, and that's in a little clip. We're not going to show it tonight. But tell me about that little Bible before I let you go.
He carried those of you that have seen the pictures of Buford sitting in his Corvette with his hand out the window and holding the rearview mirror. If you look close, you'll see this little pocket Bible laying on the corner of his dash behind the windshield, and you'll see a pistol and you'll see a badge. And that was some of the last pictures made of Buford, and his mother had given him that little Bible in May.
There it is right there. We got a picture of it.
Yeah, May of 72, and you can see from that picture, and there's the date on it, May the 6th of 72. And I tell people, kind of like I mentioned to Bo there a while ago, Buford had a lot going on in May of 72. He was in a heated sheriff's race, and they were starting to get ready to film Walking Tall.
Right.
And I guess his mother felt like he needed that little pocket Bible with him, and she gave it to him.
That's Mama's.
That's right. That's the mama's love, and trying to look out for him.
That's right.
And another thing that
tell us how you got that, where that Bible ended up. Can you tell that story after the wreck, or you feel like telling that one?
Yeah, I can tell it.
Okay.
And, but the Bible it ended up at Carbo's Police Museum, and I've got the burned license plate from the death car also, and I've got the T-top.
There's a plate.
There's the license plate, and I've got the T-top.
That was on the vet. Yep, there's the T-tops off the vet.
Yeah, and the reason the T-tops weren't destroyed, he came home from that press conference and mowed his yard with a push mower.
Wearing his jacket.
No, he took that jacket off.
That's what I said. That in that press conference, he had that jacket
had that
on.
jacket
That's
on.
right. That's trying to make the tie it into y'all people.
That's right. And but he mowed his yard and he washed that Corvette and he took those tops off and propped them against a fence. And in that clip, when we can see it later, but I told you, I said he unlatched those latches.
Yeah.
Never to return home to put them back on.
That was kind of haunting.
Yeah. But these things had been in Carbo's Police Museum, for like 40 plus years.
Right.
And a friend of mine called me and said, have you seen that Pusser stuff on eBay? I said, I hadn't. And he said, I thought of you when I seen it. And so I got in contact with a lady that was selling them. And it was kind of strange how she had ended up with them. And I told her the story of that Bible, that it had, and it's really strange. The night that Buford crashed and died, it threw 3 things out of that Corvette.
That's what I was wanting you to tell.
Yeah. It threw Buford's body, a pistol, and a Bible out on the ground. And that's the Bible. And you can see it's singed. It was so close to that burning car, but it didn't burn.
Yeah.
That's it.
Wow. Anything else we need to go over? It's been 2 hours, over 2 hours. We just scratched the surface.
Just scratched the surface.
It just takes forever.
I don't have any notes.
No, it's all by his head.
64 years. Right here.
They always wonder, I've always asked, is there really a, Dixie mob or mafia, any of that? Well, there is a Brewer Street Mafia.
That's right.
And you're in it right now. You okay with me making
Oh,
it?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're going to
We're going to kick you out after tonight.
I'm going to make you an official member, and I'm going to make your wife. Here, you both got one. Official members of the Brewer Street Mafia.
We appreciate this.
So when you tell people, what about the Mafia, you say, I am in the Brewer Street Mafia. And one more thing. I know you're a teetotaler. I understand that. But would you take this as a compliment to you for what you've done for me? We're not done with all we're going to do together.
That's right.
This is made from my friends at Golden Pond Distillery in Cadiz, Kentucky. It's a special run of moonshine for the Mike Weatherford Show. See, it's my family recipe.
That's right.
My family recipe. Can you believe that? And would you take this as another token of my appreciation to you?
Yes, sir.
You
Let's
can keep
go
that.
with it. With all this collection, that's part of the story.
That's part of the story right there, man. And that's
right.
the real. You can take your lid off and smell. That's not water in there.
No, that's the stuff got blood.
That's the real thing.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I was around enough that moonshine and all when I was a kid. I never wanted any.
I respect that because
right.
I asked your wife. I did out of respect. I did because I knew that story, and I didn't want her to say, "Oh God, no, don't give him no moonshine." That's Frank Back man. But I asked your wife. I said, "Would he be insulted?" She said, "Oh no, he'll love it." So I wanted to make sure that you was okay with that because I knew what you went through.
That's part of the collection.
Part of the collection.
That's right. We'll be.
We just touched the surface on this. I wish I had about 3 hours just with Steve again. We do got 3 hours of video. We're going to release that thing later. Anybody got any questions for him?
And it don't matter.
It don't matter.
Ask him.
He's answered.
You got the man sitting there. You'll never get this again.
He answered the main question everybody want to know.
Yeah.
If you want to believe the story, he answered the question.
Mm-hmm.
So, story's ended.
He said,
"There's no such as poking and pronging it." I mean, he answered the question. Yeah.
Any questions? Ken, you're the guy that's the smart guy of all us.
Grady from Sanford Son is in the video.
Oh, okay. We got a video on
We
now?
have some video here.
Yeah, watch this right here.
Oh,
Anything you want to find out while I got Mr. Sweat hemmed up?
Investigated so much. So I'm a Sanford Son fan from
1977, my first memory was Sanford Son went off the air. So I go to the museum, and here's Grady with his stick, and I'm just in shock. Did you get to meet Grady at all?
I didn't get to meet Grady. I did meet Red West, and where that came from, where Grady's involvement with Walking Tall, Ted Turner was a huge Buford Pusser fan. He aired those movies, those 3 movies, Walking Tall, Part 2 and Final Chapter, about every 90 days, and he kept the story alive. And he started a series of shows titled Liars and Legends, and that lasted from 2000 to about 2004. And one of the episodes they filmed here, and I was involved in it, June of 2000. It was one of the first ones. And Grady was not here, but Red West was, because he played the Alcorn County Sheriff in all 3 of those Walking Tall movies. So I spent 3 hours with Red. Red quizzed me about Buford, and I was quizzing him about Elvis. And so we really hit it off real well. But that is where the Grady involvement kind of intertwined with the Walking Tall story. Was Grady narrated a lot of those stories. So that was the connection.
There you have it, guys. We've looked all over to Atlanta and all over the country, and we finally got Mr. Steve Sweat to clear that up for us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. That saga. I didn't see that part. The saga.
Chapter close.
Chapter
the Grady
close. The
saga,
Grady
yes.
saga is over. And
That's
it
it.
took Mr. Steve Sweat.
If you need to know anything else, just call me.
Just call him.
You got me. That's all.
So,
I
and
wanted
so
to know.
he closed your story, so he closed the other story.
That's right.
It took the suspicion out.
Rick.
Yep.
What you got, bub? Anything for him? You never. It's hard to get Mr. Sweat. He's a busy man.
Yeah, I know. As far as questions, I don't have the questions, but I do have a.
I'm gonna ask you that in a minute.
I have a compliment, and thank you for keeping the history alive and keeping the collection and being an individual that will step up and tell the truth when it needs to be told, and I appreciate that in you.
Before I question everybody here about their opinion, we got one more little clip we want to show here. Run that beautiful bean footage. What do you want? You see I'm busy.
Little man with the big stick or big stick with the little man?
I want it to be like a crazy cat.
See, folks, we have fun. Do we not? That was good. Kevin, that was excellent right there. That was good stuff right there. We have fun. You didn't know that. All right, I'm going to go around here. I asked Steve Sweat the question, did Buford Pusser kill his wife? And you heard his answer. What is your opinion? After all this you've been through with me, we've had Mike Ellum, Bill Harmonen, Steve Sweat. You went down there. You done all this stuff that I did. And you did your own show because you have your own TV show. It's called
History Highway. We did an episode on Buford Pusser.
That's right. Where are you at on this?
I'm still at that position that if you wanted a tough man, if you wanted somebody that could get the job done, he could do it. But was he perfect? No. Things were different back then, how we handled the law and how the people that were breaking the law, how you had to handle them. They were tough people. And so different
Real
era.
knows real, right?
Yeah, it's a different era. So I believe that what he said was the truth. I believe the deputies. And the thing that bothers me is most of those people are dead and gone, cannot speak for themselves anymore. And so it's perfect timing to be contradictory and to say, well, there's another story. Right. But the people that can tell the story, most of them are dead. So I'm going to go with those who told the story then, who lived it.
That's fair enough. History Highway, folks. You need to watch that show. It's a great show. Where's it on? Roku and all of them, man.
Roku and Amazon Fire. Yes,
it's
sir.
on. Watch it. There you go. Ken, you've been through this saga. We finally solved one saga tonight, did we not?
We're here, we know the Grady. We're around Buford now. I get it. Sorry.
Now we're on Buford. You've been through all this with me. You've read that report. You have filled me full of information as I'm doing this.
1967, my granddad died in 1973 before I was born. Could I tell you what happened at any point before then? No. You mentioned something that he was there, we weren't. And Bo said America needed that hero at that time in the 70s. And he brought so many people into law enforcement. Harmoning, Elam, they'll all tell you that. And they'll say, and everybody's brought a little bit to this story. But on a jury, no, I could not say, no. That's my answer. So
your answer is, if it was a jury, you would have to say, we're not going to convict him.
No, yeah, that's my answer, no.
Everything's circumstantial. How they frame it. There's no solid proof.
Ricky, you've been through a lot with me, brother. We have done everything from Bigfoot to you over in Ireland wearing a kilt.
Wherever you want to do.
Mr. Pepsi Cola himself.
Well,
where are you at when it comes to the Buford Pusser saga? Where is Ricky felt like after all this you've been through with me, where are you at?
The truth is, I've always said, I always back the boys in blue, no matter if it gets stopped. And I hate to even bring the name up tonight. I lost a good friend of mine. He was a deputy sheriff in Henry County. He was a policeman in McKenzie.
Yeah.
Dennis Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if anybody knew Dennis, you know what Dennis's son's name is?
Buford.
That's correct. I asked him.
Buford's his son.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I asked Dennis. I said, if you know Dennis, he claimed he was done cosmetology, bless his heart, and he was, but back in the boys in blue. Back.
You hear me? You asked me. Yeah, go ahead.
Back. Just back in the boys in blue. You said it, and if we don't have law, we're going to be chaos.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what he stood for.
Yeah.
If you don't go hit with that stick, that little flapjack, that
rough.
blackjack, first thing you pull up and the guy pulls that billy club out, you don't want none of that.
That's right.
So that's my stance.
So you think it's kind of like it is?
It's you got to back the boys in blue.
That's right.
They're good and there's some bad.
Yeah, that's right. Wow, that's everything.
That's anything. So,
well, Mike, now that you've asked all of us, what is our opinion? Now it is time for you to be on the spot.
Oh, Lord, man, I'm a host. Do I have to give my
Yes,
side?
you do.
Steve, I have
Yes.
Yes, you do.
Oh, man.
I mean, you called him on the carpet. You called every one of us on the carpet. Now it's your time to get the rug burned.
You're right. Let me tell you something. When you live by the sword, you die by it, right?
There you go.
I grew up, my sister went and interviewed Buford. We thought we'd found a picture of her interviewing him, but it wasn't my sister. She come back telling a great story about Buford Pusser. I was born before he died. I was born before all that. So I'm an old guy. I want to think that Buford Pusser is what I grew up thinking he was. A southern sheriff in a small town. That just the way they sheriffed. It happened here in Henry County. They'd whoop your hind end with a stick, a nightclub. They'd jerk you out, smack you around. That's just how police were done back then. I want to think that Buford Pusser is what I grew up thinking, that he was a hero. I want to think that people's wrong when they say that he shot his wife. I want to think people's wrong when they say we need to take Buford's statue down, which there's not one, but say there was, and replace it. No, Bo nailed it. We need heroes in this country. We need people to look up to. We need to try to unite this country. Everything that I grew up thinking was right, they're trying to turn it into wrong.
Fight that every day on my
Every day.
Every day.
Everywhere that I go, what I think is wrong, and let's stop that, guys. Let's go back to letting the Buford Pusser story be what it was, because if Buford killed his wife, that's 60 years ago. What's it going to do today? If he didn't, what's he going to do today?
We're not his judge or his jury.
That's right. Let's go back.
We're not his judge or his jury.
There's nothing wrong with having heroes, and quit trying to tear down every statue you don't like. Quit trying to shut down every restaurant you don't like the taste of the food. Quit trying to close every body shop that you don't like the paint colors, or don't close every muffler shop because the muffler's too loud. Let's go back to we all can believe what we want to believe. And it's okay to have heroes.
Yes.
Where am I wrong, guys?
That's what Bo said. Exactly what he said.
Yeah, he's right.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Be a hero, not a zero.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with Buford Pusser being a hero? Maybe, I don't know. What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with it. I think that's part of our problem in our culture today is we
tear down stuff.
We tear it down. And
we tear it down.
Yeah.
What Steve and I, I keep saying we're friends because we grew up kind of the same way. We're more common than we realize we are. Steve and I are. Because it's funny, we both in the auto repair business. We both kind of pour up when we didn't have the silver spoon in our mouth. We had the shovel in our butts. We had to jerk them out and learn to use them. Is that not right? That's right. And we know what it's like to have heroes. Buford was his hero. Superman, John Wayne. You got to tell me about that thing before we leave here. Now, you can't forget that. But John Wayne was my hero. Everybody had heroes growing up, but for some reason, we don't want that no more. I don't understand it. Tell me what you got right there before I let you go, Steve.
This is the first time I wore this, and I've had it for probably 24 years now. A good friend of mine, Wiley Brewer in Kentucky. His mother and dad had the opportunity to have 2 or 3 meals with John Wayne. And if you can see this, it's this was from the Winchester Arms. They donated all of their firearms to the Buffalo Bill Cody Museum in Cody, Wyoming in the 4th of July of 1976. And Wiley's mother and dad got real close with John Wayne over 3 days there. And they gave all the men a marshal badge and a bolo. And John Wayne took his badge off his chest that they'd give him and put it in his pocket. He said, I've wore enough of these. But he wore this bolo for the 3 days there, that celebration. And at the end of that 3 days, he took it off and gave it to my friend's mother. And he said, you keep this for me. And about 24 years ago, when my mother passed away, Wiley sent this to me. And he said, I kept my dad's bolo, but this was the one that John Wayne gave my mother. And he said, I want you to have it.
Wow.
Oh.
So, yeah.
See, that's another hero.
That's right.
John Wayne.
Yeah. I've always believed, try to accentuate the positive.
Yeah.
Don't tear down people.
Don't tear it down,
You're
man.
right, 100%.
I have guests in here, Steve, and I want you all to know this. I don't agree with what they say sometimes, but be respectful. Yeah. It's okay not to agree. If you don't like the restaurant, just don't go back.
Just don't go back.
Don't try to tear it down. If you don't like something, just turn your back. And if you're scrolling by something, don't have to answer it on Facebook. You don't have to make a comment because, a lot of times they wouldn't do it to your face. I think that's a lot of problem nowadays because they don't know what it feels like to get hit in the damn mouth.
Yeah.
Like I did in my neighborhood. I got hit in the mouth a lot growing up, didn't you?
That's an attitude adjustment.
Damn right.
That's right.
Well, I grew up on the west side of Paris. I'm going to tell you, it's like Chicago. If you smart off over there, you're going to get hit in the mouth. And I've been hit in the mouth plenty of damn times. So I learned, well, I might thank you, but I'm not going to say it. Steve.
Yes, sir.
We've been friends for 40 years. We just had never met.
Just never met. That's right.
And I want to tell you how much I appreciate you coming up here and doing what you did today. You are a true living legend. No matter where I went on this crusade to find out about Buford, your name came up. And he kept telling Steve Sweat, and everybody was calling me, get hold of Steve Sweat. Well, finally I got your number, and I called you, and you said, I don't know who this crazy guy is. I know you're thinking that. And you finally said, I'll tell you what, come on down. So we went down there, and you opened up your house. Let's call it
That's
your
right.
home to us, and you made us all feel welcome. You drove me around and showed me everything there was down there, and I want to tell you how much I appreciate that, man. You know, you're a true friend. I can tell that. I hope our friendship grows as strong as you have with other people, because I believe you're the kind of man like I am, where if I tell you I'll pay you Friday, you're getting paid. Yeah. There ain't many like us left.
That's right.
It's few people that has a respect that earned like you have.
Yeah, I've been in business there in Selmer. This month is 53 years. I opened that business when I was 17, and I've worked every day of my life to have that reputation.
You know, here's something else. I've been in business for 40 years.
Yeah.
Work every day.
Every day.
And this talk show is just for the fun of it. Ricky, you've been doing it. He's been at Pepsi how long?
52.
52 years. Yeah, and
I'm still there.
Yeah.
That's right, still going.
He's the chief bottle washer, right? They call him vice president. I don't know what that means.
No, nothing like that. There you go with that title again.
Well, you got a title, but anyway, you know, that's just from the way we grew up. We grew up where you had to get out and get it. Nobody's going to give it to you, and when you get it, you sure as hell don't want to lose it.
That's right.
No.
So you know, you fight hard to keep it, and your name. When you ain't got a lot of money, your name's all you got.
That's right.
That's all you use all these years. But Steve Sweat, that name's what got it.
Yeah.
And I appreciate your wife coming in with you. I mean, you got a beautiful family, man. I've never met nobody but you and your wife in your house. But man, everything around you is beautiful. Your shop, damn, you just had a blessed life.
I have, and the people that I've got to rub elbows with, you know, Red West.
Yeah.
Mike Huckabee.
Yeah. Mike Huckabee. I like to meet him.
Dwayne Johnson.
Mike Weatherford.
Mike Weatherford.
That's what I wanted to hear.
That's right. And that's what I try to encourage young people. I said, you know, the poorest kid in Adamsville, and look at the things that I've been blessed to be able to do.
Yes.
That's right.
They come from up high.
That's right.
That's right. You got it.
I know we run on time. One last thought.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
What does that question mean? What is this? Oh, hell, here we go. Oh, look at here. Somebody from Clarksville. Dear Mike, your guys have become a staple for my Tuesday night viewing. Thank you, Clarksville. Alan from Clarksville, Tennessee. Hey, I appreciate that. That means a lot, don't it?
That's right.
There you go.
It would.
I'm wondering about that. We'll talk about it later.
Oh, okay.
We better talk about that one.
Oh, Lord. All right, folks, there you go.
I'm going to leave you alone tonight.
We've done a 3-part series with about Buford Pusser. I brung in everybody I could think of. Let me rephrase that. Yeah, let me rephrase that. My team brung in everything we could think of. Kevin, my producer in the back, he's went above and beyond. He's edited, he's pulled out, he's voicing over, he's doing everything he can. Ken, he's worked his hind ends off calling people, getting people to talk to me or and promise them everything in the world. If Mike wants to come out and hang out with you and talk to you, and we've done it. We had Bill Harmonen. You got a hold of him. You got a hold of Mr. Mike Elam. Ken, you've done it's basically your work here.
He's running the show.
Yeah, on this part right here is all your hard work. Has got this set up.
That's a great.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike Elam.
Yeah.
Got this all started.
Mike Elam got it all started. And
he's got a side of the story.
He does. He does. And Mike Elam is a great guy. And I've got nothing bad to say about Mike Elam. He was a nice guy to me. Him and his wife was pleasant, real nice to me. And I just told him, I said, I'm just going to do the show and let you tell your story and ask you some questions. And I told Harmony the same way. I'm going to let you do your part, but I'm going to ask you some questions that I think that me and my viewers might want to know. But when he comes to this man right here, he told me, ask me anything you want to, Mr. Sweat has. He don't care. He'll answer any question. He'll say, I don't know because I wasn't there, but somebody was there and told me this. And that's what I like.
Yeah. And people have respected even the bad guys. I've had some of the people that were represented in the Walking Tall movies sign my book. I showed you one guy's signature.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, write anything you want to write. and he put to my best friend.
There you go, man. You know, that's all it takes. We all sit here and could talk about it forever, but we got to get back to the way it used to be, where it's okay if you don't agree. You know, why does it matter for Democrats or Republicans if you're friends? Why does it matter if Buford did it or didn't do it if you're friends? When you let politics come in between families and friends, what are we doing, Steve? What is this country doing, man? When you know, I'm supposed to shut you down because you was a friend of Buford's, and it's crazy. Anyway, folks, remember that it's okay to disagree, and if you think Buford did that to his wife, that's fine. That's your opinion. You're perfectly entitled to it, and I don't hold it against you. If you think he didn't do it, that's fine too. I don't hold that against you. That's your right. That's what we live in America for. But don't be mad at the other guy if he don't think like you do. Just try to listen to his side and do it in a way that maybe you can still be friends if you haven't,
That's right.
Anything else want to add before I go?
Just thank Mr. Harmony, Mr. Elam,
Yes, sir.
Steve. We had fun with every one of them.
Been a great show.
And that museum was fun. We had a great time. If you haven't done it yet, look, folks, if you haven't done it yet, go to Adamsville. Go to the Buford Pusser Museum, walk in, and just see all that great stuff down there. Like we did, you can see there's cars, there's beds, there's everything. There it is, just like when he left there. It's worth that, It's worth going down there and just seeing this. And it is, like it or not, it's part of the history of Tennessee. And really, it's the history of the country.
That's right.
It's part of the history. Like it or not, that's what it is. There's his bed he slept on. There's pictures I took. I guess they find out I was in there, they'll get mad. But, you should have been watching. Yeah, I'm wigged out. I didn't know what was going to happen. I slipped that through that gate right there. But anyway, that's one of our fans that found us down there. Kevin, he likes our show, and he said, man, can we get a picture of y'all too? And I said, sure, come on, bro. And there's who's that one?
Eddie Sanders.
Eddie Sanders. They was great guys. And there's my producer. I'm finna hit him in the damn head. Or maybe I done hit him in the head. And he's trying to show me his is bigger than mine. And his stick, we're talking about the sticks. Quit getting vulgar. And there's Kevin standing beside of Buford. And that's the Queen of Adamsville Queen that day. Was that the, help me out here, Ken. What was that festival?
It was the Buford Pusser Festival that weekend.
Yeah, and she was the queen, and I was a trophy, so it worked out perfect, And there's the king on the throne right there. That's the one and only trophy, Dana's trophy, sitting right there.
We'll talk about that later.
And something else before I let y'all go.
Go ahead.
We found out hard stick is a real thing.
Brian anyway.
That's right. This movie, I thought, because these guys, when you see all this stuff on Facebook, me dressed like Evel Knievel, and I seen one, I was dressed like Liberace. I don't know what they do to me, guys. They poured on this poor old Mike. Now, but I'm game, because you know what? I give it back when they ain't looking. I just can't do what they do. You seen it, Steve. They pour it on me.
Yeah.
And I always thought when Ken over my old buddy was talking about hard stick, I thought, what's this? Man, don't be talking about that. It's kind of vulgar. No, Mike, it's a real thing. He come out as American Hero. Then when he went to VHS, they changed the name to Hard Stick. And Harmon come in, and he said, y'all been talking about that. He found a darn VHS of the movie Hard Stick, so it's true. Ken, you have not been lying to me. This is a true thing. And on the back of it, it says, where's that part at? There's something I'm going to read on here. It says, he don't use a gun. He doesn't carry a pistol. He doesn't carry a shotgun. Buford Pusser's only weapon is a big, hard stick. That's what it says right there. And on that note, we got to go. So I want to thank you for tuning in. Next week, don't forget, we got the sheriff debate out of Carroll County Sheriff's race. They're going to be in here. Special guest Mike White. Eric Sawyers, Ryan White will be here along with Hansel McAdams. He's going to be my ex-moderator. He's going to help me go through all this, and we're going to find out what's going on in the Carroll County Sheriff race. It's going to be a great show coming up. Don't forget, coming up June the 13th at the Golden Pond Distillery, Martin Grove, Steve Causey, the Mike Weather Show will be there. If you've seen a Bigfoot, heard a Bigfoot, smelled a Bigfoot, if you want to find out what you've seen, is it true or not, show up June the 13th, 5 p.m. at Golden Pond Distillery, Cadiz, Kentucky, and let the experts tell you what you see. Hey, you're going to wish you had been there. I want to thank my crew in the back. Without them guys, I couldn't do these 3-hour shows, which I posted. I just pay for an hour. No telling what they're going to charge me for 3 hours. I know it's high. I'm over budget. Hey, if you want to sponsor me, night's the night to do it. You know, it's going to cost the hell out of me. I want to thank Kevin Keel, Scott Norwood, Ken Askin, Dana Allen, and I'm going to thank my old buddy right here, Rick Price, for staying in here with me all the time. We've been through a lot.
Brother. Ain't number a thing.
Thank you for what you do.
Oh, thank you, man.
Hey, Rick.
Hey.
Appreciate you, brother.
Good to be here.
We've been doing a lot of stuff together lately.
Been having a good time.
We have been having a good time, and it was fun down there, wasn't it?
Oh, I enjoyed it.
Steve, thank you again, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right, folks, tune in next week. Same time, same place. Like I always tell them. Y'all tell them.
Don't be late.
See you later.
All right.
Mike Weatherford Show is recorded live in the Brewer Street Mafia Studios in downtown Paris. A Kill Media, Brewer Street Mafia Productions.